Shout out, shout out, shout out. What's good, what's good, what's good? Good evening, good evening, good evening. It's been a good weekend. Did I get a new day job? Or make a baby or something to be so early? Yeah, I just made a quick baby. BRB, making new baby. Cooking it up in the lab. Oh man. What's up, dudes? What's up, Solar Dragon? Smile, smile, smile. Pradeep needs a brother. He probably would benefit from a brother. Someone he can bully late at night. I know. I don't know. I feel like right now is probably the perfect time to stream. That's like my ideal time to stream is like 9:30-ish. Ish. Your belly button is bleeding. You got a ring. You got a ring camera hiding in there. A cat sibling for Pradeep or dog? I don't know. I think I want to get a dog, but I don't fucking know, dude. I don't know anything about anything, honestly, anymore. Did you turn it to live chat or not top chat? I just changed it to live chat. Get GTA, dude. Get GTA 6 is gonna make history, break records that will never be broken again. Yeah, because they'll never release another one after that. Honestly, it took this long to get this. Like, there's just. What do I think of the new Kanye? I mean, it's not really new. I think everybody's kind of become conditioned to him saying controversial things for a long time. It's just kind of whatever at this point. But yeah, what's on the agenda? We got Private Investigator Stories that I think will be interesting. Good mythical night. Yeah, GTA 6 should be kind of bonkers. Be back later. I have a jizz oint with my new roommate. Hell yeah, there you go. Did you hear about the airport in Florida? No, what happened there? On my way to band practice, play with the boys. So, oh, nice, dude. Good luck. The real is a hot dog, a sandwich. See, this is something that Kanye should answer. We need to leave it up to him to hit on like the really hot topics. How do you feel about panspermia, aliens seeding our planet? I guess that was the plot line for one of the, what was it, Alien Prometheus or whatever? What do you think about this Kanye's song? Well, see, I produce beats in my spare time, and that was one of the ones that he bought from me. I had no idea he was going to use it to that end. So me and my legal team are currently going through copyright issues with that. We'll keep you posted. Do you do the narrations for animated horror stories? I mean, I guess I technically do, but it seems like a lot of the animated channels just kind of grab them and use them. Joel was one of the volunteers to be seeded by the aliens, yeah. A gay male nurse, yeah. They used my goop and they threw it into a riverbank. It's worked out alright so far. Thousands and thousands of clones. Most gay people are named Matt. Yeah, but there's a lot of people named Matt. That's like saying most Muslims are named Muhammad, you know what I mean? It's just a likelihood. Or that most gay porn consumers are Pakistani. Let's clone, yeah. Let's get some clones out there. Switch it up a bit. Wait, what happened with the... I guess I'll have to look it up. Florida airport. News. Verticalism releases Southwest International Airport. Releases Southwest Florida International Airport. 2 Florida airports made the top list of most stressful. I don't see anything. At least on the top searches. 2 days ago, Florida airport closed after vehicle catches fire in parking garage. Okay. Did they get to the bottom of that? I guess we can ask ChatGPT. Was there something bad that happened at a Florida airport? Favorite scary story in the... What's your favorite scary story in my ghost face voice? Wait, what? Jacksonville International Airport garage fire. Significant fire erupted in the hourly parking garage at Jacksonville International Airport, damaging approximately 50 vehicles and leading to partial structure collapse on the 2nd and 3rd floors. The blaze began with a single car and rapidly spread, prompting a temporary close to the airport. Jeez. Fortunately, no injuries reported. There's Joel's avatar riding the butt plug. Yeah, getting wild. Do I have to buy the permission to read the Sam riding stories? Yeah, I mean, like any of the creepypasta that Sam writes, or, you know, like the amateur horror bonus content, I pay him commission for that. And then the true crime, I pay him obviously for that as well. So yeah, it's unless you're asking like to read it on your channel or something like that, in which case I would rather you not, you know what I mean? We are early. Early bird gets the squirm. Delta plane engine fire at Orlando. Oh, okay. So, that was back in April. Plane crash in Boca Raton. Animal abuse incident, Orlando International. Okay, so I guess it's just the fires. That would suck, though, if your car was right next to this and get burned up. I heard you on a podcast today, and it was good and cool, thanks. Oh, yeah. You might have heard me on the No Sleep podcast. You know what they say, the early bird gets the profit of government contracts. True. I'm contracted by the government to lull all of you into a hypnotic state, so that whatever you hear on the news, you will believe instantaneously, not ask questions. The channels gives you credit for it. Yeah, I hope so. Hopefully the animated ones do. I asked them to if they do it. But I would prefer that they just don't take it. Because it kind of sucks, because like from the day I release it, some of them will like put out the animation, right? For like whole story sets. And it's just like, alright, bro. Clearly you didn't put a lot of effort into your animation if you're just immediately like copy pasting that shit right over there. Katy Perry or Kesha. I don't know, man. Neither of those sound very appealing to listen to at all. I don't even know a single Kesha song, and I definitely wasn't very much a Katy Perry fan. Kesha as a person, yeah, I'm not even remotely familiar. Can you make a silent live chat? What's a silent live chat? Wait, they just take your narration and hurl out animations of them without permission? I mean, some of them do. Some just don't give a fuck and take it, but it's so hard to keep up with because it's just annoying. But it's mainly the annoying part is that their like animation output is like not good, you know? It's all from like the same shitty program. And, you know, it's not like you're getting like Meat Canyon quality animations. How am I doing? I'm doing pretty good. This past week went by so fast. And I feel like I don't know, lately it's been weird. I just feel like my brain has been like a bit of a fugue state of sorts. Katy Perry's an astronaut. I know, I should have some more respect. She's basically Neil Armstrong. Got your vasectomy sitting here. Icing my nads. Love the show. Thanks, Bob. I remember my buddy, he was born around the same time as me. He said his parents got a vasectomy and it apparently did not work. But that was years ago. Especially when they start off with a description of the storyteller and they show someone who's like, yeah, I'm sure. At this point, I feel like I wouldn't be surprised if it's just a computer program that they pump the story into that like puts something out, which honestly would be interesting for like my channel to be able to do. If I don't know if anybody knows any program that could do that, that would be, I feel like, interesting, like an interesting dynamic to the channel that I've not otherwise tried. She didn't go into space, or at least she didn't reach orbit. It was a suborbital flight. Yeah, I mean, that's cool too. I just don't really know why the fuck that was like major news, like a bunch of famous people doing something stupid. I mean, I guess it's maybe an indication like soon, hey, they're doing it, soon you guys will be able to do it too. Which I don't even know if I would want to do. You should have Meat Canyon animate a story. I mean, that would be sick, but I think he's quite busy and well beyond my league of scope at this point. If you are meant to be, you are meant... What is it? If you are meant to be, you are meant to be. Rusty Shackelford, 2025. That's why there weren't re-entry burns on the capsule. I guess that makes sense. I mean, I'm sure a lot of things could have gone wrong if they broke orbit or whatever. That would have been terrible if like something in the launch went incorrectly. Space is a big murder vacuum. What's up, Drew? Another distraction from another distraction. Yeah, I don't know. State-ran media is just like the most boring shit anyways. You never get like honest opinions on anything, and it's just like... And it's weird that like most of us are still just kind of in like a reactionary state to like reality for the most part. Like we don't really have much of a memory for anything. Like we think about one thing for so long and then a new thing happens and then we're convinced that everyone's talking about it, so we have to talk about it. But you don't really need to care about everything. It's probably not even within your scope to do anything. Has space been monetized yet? I hope so. We gotta get up there and start collecting all the space trash, like Futurama. But it would be sick if you got like a Viking funeral or something, but they just like launched you off into space and just that's where your tomb was forever, floating for eternity. Playing Red Dead Redemption 2, nice. It's a classic game. Have you come across the ghost girl in the swamp area? I hear there's a ghost girl out there. What's up, Jorge? They just yeet you at the ship, yeah. I don't know if you've ever seen Starship Troopers when that one girl, one of the main characters dies, she gets, 23 gun salute or whatever, and then shot off into space. But then it'd be funny if she just crashed into another ship. The first multi-trillionaires will be the companies responsible for asteroid mining in the next 20 years. Yeah, do you think we're at that level? 20 years at mining asteroids? I guess if we get more efficient with things. Alright, friends. Do we just jump into it? Shall we just get going? Yes, I go. Shift the energy over. There's one asteroid in particular, don't remember the name, but there's apparently a few septillion dollars worth of metals on it. Yeah, I mean, if there's that level of like, that's the whole thing with humans, right? Is it's all just about raw minerals and resources at the end of the day, especially if there's like application to them. All right, guys. What else is new? Anybody got any cool shit to say? Any thoughts? Any things you're following or interested in? lately. I was watching a lot of Naruto with my buddy and his son. Never really watched that show, but I didn't realize they do a lot of homages to other animes, which I thought was kind of cool. Like whenever they did like a cowboy town, like a western town, there was a main antagonist on that episode that was voiced by Steve Bloom. I thought that was pretty sick. What we need for fuel is abundant in space and limited on Earth, as well as running out, not to mention over atmosphere. Our atmosphere makes launching too costly. That's why we need a moon base for Mars launchers. Yeah, that'd be kind of interesting. Do I like Eminem or MJGK? I never really listened to MGK. Not a big Eminem fan. Makes people upset when I criticize Eminem, but I don't know. I don't really like the frequency of his voice or like what he raps about. I used to like it when he was younger and made like almost like borderline parody music, but now I just don't really give a shit. What's up, Dom? You finished some pottery projects. That's cool. Do you do like the pottery at home where you're like spinning it? Or do you go to a class? Child of Loki, yeah. My name's Harry. I'm a former cop and currently a private investigator. I've been based in London for the past 14 years. I won't get into the ins and outs of why I left the force because I could write a whole book on how I feel about the Metropolitan Police. But let's just say that I felt a bit underappreciated. And in 2010, I hung up my Bobby's hat for good to make a lot more money for myself in the private sector. I worked for a couple of different firms during those first few years, mostly doing things like background checks, investigating insurance fraud, or doing asset searches for the likes of divorce lawyers. Damn. No, I don't have a wheel. I just have an air dry and oven baked clay. I'd love to get a wheel though. That would be sick, yeah. Obsessed with the 100. What's the 100 about? Starting a new job with a nice pay raise in my own electrical van. That's interesting. I see people at those like electrical charging stations and it seems like they have to like camp out, you know what I mean, just to sit there and wait for it to charge, or like they go as like a family to like some other area and wander around for a while. And I just think about how much of a pain in the ass that would be, like to make a whole day of like filling up your energy in a vehicle. Missed notification. How long has the stream been going? Yeah, we just started here, Beth. No worries. 18 minutes. I worked for a couple of different firms during those first few years, mostly doing things like background checks, investigating insurance fraud, or doing asset searches for the likes of divorce lawyers. Damn it, dude. Every time I highlight something, like, it fucking, I don't know, it like blocks my vision of shit. Fidget, welcome to the Buttersock Cult. You now have access to bonus content. We're doing asset searches for the likes of divorce lawyers. Why is that a fucking tongue twister? We're doing asset searches for the likes of divorce. Jesus. Divorce lawyers. Divorce lawyers. Dude, say that 5 times fast, bro. That's rough. We're doing asset searches for the likes of divorce lawyer. Divorce. Oh my god. I'm gonna be stuck in this loop. Oh no. Divorce lawyers. Jesus. We're doing asset searches for the likes of divorce lawyers. Now saying it too many times sounds weird. Divorce lawyers. Divorce lawyers. Or doing asset searches for the likes of divorce lawyers. It was good money, but some of it was so boring that it actually made me miss working for the Met sometimes. Infidelity investigation was more my thing, but with it being a very sad and very dirty game, there was only so much of it that I could stomach before I was looking for other kinds of jobs. Corporate investigations paid well, rooting out embezzlement and things of that nature, but the thing that I really enjoyed doing was finding missing people. When an old colleague recommended it, I didn't think that it'd be a big enough earner. If a person goes missing and it's urgent, people go to the police, not private investigators. But as it turned out, and for a variety of different reasons, not everyone wants the police involved. I think the best and most rewarding example of this would be the woman who hired me to find her sister, who'd unfortunately become involved in a street prostitution. Saul, thank you for the 10. Feed the demonic deer. They're screaming for a snack. Begging for a Slim Jim. Thank you for the 10, dude. What's up, Blizz? If a person goes missing and it's urgent, people go to the police, not a PI. But as it turned out, and for a variety of different reasons, not everyone wants the police involved. I think the best and most rewarding example of this would be the woman who hired me to find her sister, who'd unfortunately become involved in street prostitution to pay off a drug debt. Being able to get a vulnerable person off the street and reunite them with their family was more rewarding than any paycheck. Money is nice, but if you can't look yourself in the mirror in the mornings, it's not worth the paper it's printed on, is it? And so, that's what I stuck to. If there weren't any missing person jobs, I'd work the corporate side of things, which felt like actual detective work. But for the most part, I worked the former, and the more I did so, the more I built a reputation for myself as being one of the best on the market. And that is how I ended up getting a call from Mr. and Mrs. Pennington. They'd said that I'd been recommended by someone they knew, a guy who used to run a housing scheme for vulnerable young people. I knew exactly who they were talking about as I chatted with him about work stuff a few times before. I asked if they were free for a face-to-face, as I always insist on an in-person meeting before committing to any job. They said that they were free that afternoon, so a few hours after getting the call, I was sitting in their front room with a cup of tea and a biscuit, hearing all about their missing grandson, Jamie. They were a lovely old couple in their late 60s named Connell and Maureen, and they hadn't spoken to Jamie in just over a month. They'd been his legal guardian since the death of his parents when he was still just a boy, and they'd always been very close. But then a few months after he moved out for the first time and into his first ever flat in Fitzrovia. Fitzrovia? I've never heard of Fitzrovia before. Am I saying it right? British, isn't it? It's a bit British. Fitzrovia. Okay, I guess that's a place. It's kind of funny on that Forvo website, like I frequently hear the same like English guy doing voiceovers for stuff, and I think it's all crowdfunded or like crowd created, so it's that I'm just imagining that guy all day recording words. Oh yeah, last week's live stream the internet just went off. I don't even know why, and it went off for like a while. So I have no idea what happened, but that was really lame. Because it was like, I don't know, I feel like we were in like the zone. And then we only had like a little bit of the last story to do, so it wasn't that big a deal. But I don't know, I didn't want to like start the stream back up and just create like a whole nother like notification for people and be very annoying, so it's whatever. Basically, the 100 is about the remainder of the human race having to live on a big-ass space station because Earth is made uninhabitable because of nuclear war. Okay, interesting. Yeah, I got EMP'd. But then a few months after he moved out for the first time and into his first ever flat in Fitzrovia, he suddenly stopped answering his phone. And that wasn't like him at all, and they were scared something might have happened to him. In terms of resources, they had pictures of him, the address of the coffee shop that he'd been employed at until only recently, along with a few other tidbits that might help with finding him, which included the reason they didn't want to talk to the police, not unless it was absolutely necessary. You see, 19-year-old Jamie had always known about the untimely death of his parents, but he'd remained blissfully ignorant of the gorier details. Well, around the time of his 19th birthday, Jamie decides that he wants to know the whole truth surrounding his parents' passing. Granddad sits him down over a couple of cans of lager and tells him all about the hit and run they'd suffered and the driver who'd left them for dead. If he'd stuck around and called an ambulance, maybe they'd still be alive. But since the cowardly bastard didn't face the jail time and scarpered off without bothering to call... UFO. Wait. If he'd stuck around and called an ambulance, maybe they'd still be alive. But since the cowardly bastard didn't fancy the jail time... Oh. I hate when someone starts a sentence with "but" because it sounds like it's gonna make a comparison to something. But since the cowardly bastard didn't face the jail time... Or didn't okay, yeah. Am I on Twitch also tonight? No, I don't know if I'm going to simulcast on Twitch anymore, to be honest. Because if there's a chance that it, interrupts the connection over here on YouTube from, I don't know, sending out too much information, then I don't know if it's really worth it. If he'd stuck around and called an ambulance, maybe they'd still be alive. But since the cowardly bastard didn't fancy the jail time, he scarpered off without bothering to call 999. Someone saw them later, lying there in the road, all broken and bloodied and gasping for air. Then they rushed to phone an ambulance. But it was too late. And sometime between the call and the ambulance's arrival, Jamie's parents passed away at the roadside. The deaths he could handle, but the hit and run was another kettle of fish altogether. Connell and Maureen said that he seemed a bit down in the weeks that followed, and didn't seem himself when he came to visit. I burped. Unintentionally burped, deep within my gut. But versus though. Yeah, but I don't even know if it was a though thing. It was the start of that made it sound like they were going to make a comparison at the end or lead to something else, but it didn't. I don't know, it was just confusing. I didn't fancy a jail sentence. What's up, Angelina? Thank you. Connell and Maureen seem... Man. It's pronounced buttocks, yeah. Buttocks. Connell and Maureen said he seemed a bit down for the weeks that followed, and didn't seem himself when he came to visit. They thought that he might be on drugs, in which case they didn't want police arresting him. They thought that he might be on drugs, in which case they didn't want the police arresting him for possession should he be carrying any when they found him, and they said that they'd never be able to live with themselves if he went to prison off the back of their missing persons report, and I was inclined to agree with them. The likelihood of him getting a custodial sentence for a first-time drug offense was slim, but earning himself a criminal record was definitely... Do I remember the dude who went trespassing at a house, made pancakes for the homeowner, and went to jail? No, I don't remember that. Remind me. Another notification from Let's Read wouldn't be annoying. Well, it's kind of funny because sometimes I check the stats on live streams, and it'll say -3 subscribers each time, which I guess in the grand scheme isn't that big a deal. But there's a part of me that just worries that the live streams are far too annoying to some people. And I guess it is kind of a unique streaming sort of format that some people aren't really used to. But it's this sort of weird in-between of me reading and me talking that I think is very annoying to people. Because obviously that's, me chatting about shit is not what they subscribed for. But earning himself a criminal record would definitely affect his unemployment prospects. Damn it, dude, But earning himself a criminal record would definitely affect his employment prospects, not to mention his chances of securing a place at university. My services wouldn't come cheap, obviously, but having me find him before the police did might save Jamie a hell of a lot. My services wouldn't come cheap, but having me find him before the police did might save Jamie a hell of a lot of trouble in the future. So I took a deposit, thanked them for the cup of tea and the biscuit, and then promised Connell and Maureen that I'd find their grandson. My first stop was the coffee shop Jamie was working at before he disappeared. I drove over to Fitzrovia, found the cafe, and then asked one of the girls behind the counter if she knew him. She didn't, but she quickly found someone who did, and in exchange for buying something, she agreed to sit down and have a chat with me. Jamie's grandparents had made him out to be quite the innocent young thing, one who might have gotten himself in trouble thanks to his unfamiliarity with drink, drugs, and the London nightlife. But according to the nice girl in the coffee shop, that was not the Jamie she knew. Firstly, I was under the impression that Jamie had only stopped going to work at the coffee shop because he'd disappeared, but that wasn't the case. He'd actually handed in his notice under perfectly normal circumstances about 2 months prior, apparently after having gotten another job elsewhere. But the location of that employment, along with descriptions of his behavior, painted a very different picture of young Jamie. Apparently, Jamie was quite the party animal, and was far from the naive teenage boy his grandparents had made him out to be. And that's par for the course, I suppose. A couple of sweet older people like that aren't likely to tell you that their grandchild is a bad kid, and that's assuming they knew what he was up to in the first place. And by the sounds of it, he was up to quite a bit. His ex-colleague told me that there was rarely a night that he wasn't drinking, dancing, or otherwise getting himself into wild adventures. I was told that he had a heart of gold. When it came to his lifestyle, he was quite the libertine, and far from the angel I'd first thought him to be. And that brings me to his choice of employment following the coffee shop. On more than one occasion, Jamie had turned up to do a morning shift at the coffee shop after dancing and taking drugs all night. He'd apparently pulled it off with style, I guess, but when it started living... Stream is something most channels would put on Patreon, so we appreciate it. Also, your YouTube and live stream is way better than experiencing your Spotify channel. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Do I enjoy going to the dentist? Yeah, I don't really mind it. I think it's, honestly, at this point, I go just as like a social thing, or like feeling like I have an errand to do, you know what I mean? Because they like my teeth there, and I never really have any dental issues for the most part, thankfully. I do recall, now that you say that, there was actually a period of time where I didn't go to the dentist for like 7 years. Actually only recently went back in the past like couple years, and they're like, holy shit, it's been 7 years, so they expected some issues. But they're just like, damn, your teeth are kind of immaculate, so I guess I was just fortunate that I flossed and brushed daily and didn't have a cavity to show for it. The dentist always kisses your forehead. Yeah. They spit in my mouth. What the hell? But then COVID happened, so I couldn't get stuff done. Now I have a fucking maybe 7 total teeth that are actually intact. Oh, damn. Yeah, I'd be chomping all day. Oops. I think it clicks out. Here we are. He'd apparently pulled it off with style, but when he started living a full-on nocturnal lifestyle, it was clearly time to consider alternative employment. And so off he went, to work in a nightclub. His former colleagues said that the place had been a regular haunt of his, one of those quote-unquote secret underground bars that's only known for... One of those quote-unquote secret underground bars that's only known by its Soho street address. To her, it sounded like he was there so often that he'd To her, it sounded like he was there so often he was practically a piece of the furniture. Oh my god, I can't get this right. To her, it sounded like he was there so often he was practically a piece of furniture, and in the end, one of the managers offered him a trial shift. Shaking cocktails and chatting up punters sounded a lot more his speed, so it was bittersweet to hear that he was leaving, but after some leaving drinks at a local pub, she wished him... Oh my god. Did you ever have braces? I did. I had braces from like freshman year to like my senior year. It was pretty fucking sick to get those off. And they were terrible to like eat anything with. Always get shit stuck in them. But I do remember I would definitely take care to like try and like pull the stuff out of them, because I had there was friends of mine who had braces, and I don't know exactly what they did wrong, but basically their teeth were like of a certain color that was not the same color of where their braces were like attached. So their teeth always had sort of like stains, you know what I mean, from where almost like there was like a nuclear blast, you know what I mean. Having braces made my relationship with eating it was very annoying. Dentists are mean. They can be. It is kind of weird how like far up their own asses dentists are. They're obviously, I guess they're doctors, and they run the show. And I think anybody that like runs the show related to healthcare places always seem to have this like very odd personality to them. Braces sucked a lot. Eating an avocado or bananas would hurt. The stains suck too. They have to clean. Yeah. Just get shit stuck in there all the time. What's up, George? 28-year-old with braces. Oh my god, yeah. How long do you have to have that? Mike and Ike, welcome back for 9 months. Says, what's up, Joel? How many stories we got tonight? We got 3 Private Investigator Stories tonight. Dr. Dre is a doctor, that's true. PhD in sick beats. Cooking it up in the lab. A dentist was so rude, asking me how across to USA, but water or dessert. Wait, what are you talking about? Oh, he only had him for 6 months. That is not too bad. Their kindergarten teacher was in her 50s and got braces. I thought they were so cool. Yeah. The adult, you gotta respect them. They're going through it, you know. I have to have plastic retainers after my braces. That sucked. I couldn't even eat crusts. Yeah, the braces were the absolute, or the retainer. But I remember just like always kind of chewing on them. It's like having a mouth guard in. The bootleg braces, those people doing them at their house for other people. Yeah, it's crazy. I've heard of like a friend of mine, he's Russian, and he said that there was a lot of like dentists or something that came over from like Soviet Russia after the 90s and like basically set up these like private clinics for like other Russians. And it was like kind of a lot of underground dental work, which is pretty funny. Lynn, thank you for the 2. Says, I said, whoever threw that piece of paper, your mom's a... Thank you, Lynn. How you doing? I have a fixed retainer now on my bottom teeth, but it's loose. That'd be kind of sick if they made braces look like grills. Like just like gold, shiny diamonds. What's up, Jablo? Yet braces at 22 in a pediatric office, and the teens used to clown on me because my adjustments hurt. That's funny. Where was I? He apparently pulled it off with style, but he started living. Wait. His former colleague, yeah, secret undergrad. Okay, let's start here. Shaking cocktails and chatting up punters sounded a lot more his speed, so it was bittersweet to hear that he was leaving. But after some leaving drinks at a local pub, she wished him luck, and off he went to turn his party lifestyle into a profession. The girl at the coffee shop was only too happy to help me after hearing about him going missing, and after wishing me luck in finding him, she gave me the name of the bar Jamie had been working at, and then off I drove to Soho to talk to the people at that bar. The place didn't open up until 9 at night, so I went home for a few hours before driving back. I then had to try and talk my way past the bouncer, who wouldn't let me in without paying the exorbitant 20 quid non-member's entrance fee. And he eventually relents and radios for one of the supervisors to come out and have a chat with me. But she takes one look at one of the pictures of Jamie I had on my phone and tells me that she's never seen him before in her entire life. She was quite prickly with how she said it too. And then before I could ask anything else, she walked straight back inside without saying another word to me. But she didn't need to, because I knew she was lying. When you show somebody a picture of someone and they've truly never seen them before, they actually look and think for a good couple of seconds before giving you a definitive answer. If they do recognize the person, they always answer much faster, and generally speaking, they exhibit a tell, be it raised eyebrows or a softening of their features, which lets you know that there's been that recognition. This supervisor girl ticked both boxes. Fast answer, and there was that instant softening of the facial faithful. When you struggle to say words in UK words, it makes it more funny. That's funny, yeah. What are some UK words I struggle with? Bollocks. My dad is usually a teacher, but has his own private investigator business. He gets the standard boring stuff like checking on people that fired for workman's comp, married cheaters, etc. Yeah, I feel like that's the way to do it. That sounds like easy work. I remember hearing one time in like a divorce case or something, like like there was like one of those, it's weird they even make them, but it's those like things that you can like track. It's supposed to track your phone, but people put them on each other to track where they go, like in their car and stuff, and it was like found on somebody's car. But I was wondering if like the private investigator could have like, or does do that or something. You don't get notified when you go live anymore. That's weird, Taylor. I don't know why I literally have no idea like how YouTube's notification systems work, because it's like they should have notification systems separate from their normal notifications, right? And then if people like set it to like all notifications, like why doesn't it work? Like why does it just not work for people who genuinely want to like listen in, especially live? Like I've been doing the live streaming for fucking years at this point. I would expect that the number of people who do enjoy the live streams should get notified, and it's just stupid. It's stupid to me that it doesn't. Like what did I do? What did I say that just like negates those, you know? People produce a protein that stops the growth of tooth buds for deciduous teeth. Wait, what? Oh yeah, AirTag, that's what it was. You could preset your streams and make them waiting rooms, chat rooms. I guess that's true too. I just didn't even know if that's like, because I sometimes don't know when the stream's going to go live technically, but I guess I could set it for like 10 p.m. or something. And I remember when I used to like start my streams up like 20 minutes before the stream started, I used to like get like 300 people in there in the preamble up to the stream start, you know, actually starting with recording, and now it's like I can't even get 200, and I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I just don't know. Shit's fucking stupid. It just doesn't notify on my phone. It always shows up the top for me when you're live. Whatever. I don't know, man. I wish there was a better system. And then it like took away my ability to like gift memberships to people as well, which is just like, what the fuck is that? Like, why would it, like, does that make any sense? Like, why would it take away my ability to gift memberships to my own community? Maybe you're capped. I do feel capped. Like, I genuinely do feel like the channel's capped. Like, after my, like, I had some luck with my Appalachian video, and like slowly over a period of time, my channel has just like been like decreasing in views. And you go into the data on it, and it says like notifications viewership is normal, like it's your average amount. But then the suggested views, which is where YouTube suggests it's to new viewers, is just like decreased. And it's like, okay, that's up to you, YouTube. That's on your end to make those decisions on like how it is suggested out to newer people. So I don't understand how you increase that or what you're supposed to do. I mean, I don't know. Maybe there is a shadow ban, but what the fuck did I do? I'm not that, I don't know, dude. I don't understand why they always have like some secret agenda, you know what I mean? This supervisor girl ticked both boxes. Fast answer, and there was the instant softening of the facial features when she looked at that picture. It was clear to me that she knew Jamie. So then, why was she trying to hide it? I ended up paying the $20 entrance fee just to get a feel for the place Jamie had apparently spent so much time in. I spent about half an hour at the bar, sipping at a bottle of some fancy overpriced beer, and asking various people who approached the bar if they knew this guy called Jamie. Some knew him, and were open about this, and whereas others gave me the same cold shoulder as the supervisor did, who spent the whole time giving me dirty looks from behind the bar. And I knew it was only a matter of time before she got the doorman to ask me to leave, so while I still could, I asked one of the barmaids if I could talk to her manager. But as soon as he walked into the bar, the supervisor intercepted him. And I couldn't exactly hear what she said because of the volume of the music, but I could tell that she was spinning some line about me harassing customers or whatever she was complaining about. And by the time he got to me, I thought the manager was just going to ask me to leave. But instead, he started asking me for credentials to prove that I was a PI. And the only thing I ever carry are my business cards, but they're nice and expensive looking, and they always seem to do the... Damn. YouTube's prescribed politics. Yeah, I don't understand that, man. Like, the concept of prescribed politics it's really cringe. Like a permitted thought process. Like you can't condition that out of the population. Like you can make them sit there and believe that everybody else believes something, so therefore they shouldn't say stuff. But why? I get the point, but it only can last so long. You might as well not punish everyone in collateral. What's up, Jade? What's up, Lauren? Like how sharks or alligators reproduce teeth. Deciduous means that they fall out. Oh, okay. An Arafix. Thank you for the 1. Manufactured consent. Yeah, I don't know, man. IDK. I'm sure there's like certain keywords that like once you say it, you get put in a... I mean, who knows? I'm also just like sort of inclined towards the conspiratorial, so obviously that doesn't really like assist things. I mean, I'd love to just sit here and only talk about my like content, but I feel like it'd be rather boring. The only thing I ever carry are my business cards, but they're nice and expensive looking and always do the trick. So all I had to do was show him one of them, and he invited me into his office for a little chat. It turns out I was right about the supervisor. She knew Jamie, everyone behind the bar did, and he was easily their favorite customer too. That's why she was so protective in claiming not to know him, and regarding that protectiveness, there was something I needed to know. The last time they'd talked to Jamie, so a couple of weeks prior, he hadn't seemed himself. Usually, he was well up for the party, lit up the room when he arrived, and was all hugs and kisses when... Wait, didn't Jamie work at this bar? Did they say that Jamie worked at this bar? I'm confused why that wouldn't be like the first question rather than him going there. David, thank you for the 1, dude. Ben & Jerry's cookie dough ice cream. Yeah, that shit's good, bro. Food is the greatest thing ever. Though I did fast today and will fast till the morning, or at least tomorrow. Just because sometimes you eat so much good food that you just feel like a piece of shit and you're like, well, I think the fastest way to like delouse my stomach is to just not eat for a bit. Started college. Nice. Yeah, how's it going? You said you were doing writing. Any up? I guess I assume it's probably getting the end of semester. What's up, Tales from the Dark? That's why they invented cocaine, true. You never have to eat again. Usually. You'd rather be a housewife. I guess it's possible, but I guess sometimes that's kind of what college has become, is just kind of like doing something until something else happens, or like it's a nice way to like meet people or whatever and keep yourself busy. I was just going to ask what you ate today. Yeah, nothing today. Just a lot of caffeine and water. Cocaine. Currently listening to you while applying for scholarships and writing a script that's covering suicide prevention. Plan to upload a short film to social media. Shoot date is this fall. Yeah, how does one prevent sewer slide? How was my weekend? It was pretty good. It went by really fast. I feel like last week went by really fast too. I really need to figure out like how to like make life more exciting, you know what I mean? Because I think that's been like the origins for just a lot. I mean, I think it's the same for everybody, but a lot of like our own personal sort of like insecurities, I think, stem from being really bored all the time and just like not stoked about shit, you know what I mean? Like stoked about building something, stoked about direction. And I am stoked about some stuff. I am okay, for sure. I don't know. Like that, like, you know how like when you wake up on Christmas when you're younger and you like, even if you only got like 4 hours of sleep or whatever, it's like you're so fucking stoked about Christmas. Like I want to wake up and feel like it's Christmas again and that the thing the thing that I'm about to do that day is just, I gotta get it. Do you want me to become your arch nemesis so you have a supervillain fight? That'd be good. It sucks that your only weakness is a baseball bat. Go outside and stand on the street corner and just wait there. Free hugs. Currently applying to PA school, but feel greatly pressured and anxious. I hope everything goes well. Yeah, I'm sure it will. I mean, you're doing the right steps towards your goals, you know, applying, and then whenever you get in, your next steps will be to do as best you can. Need to have some babies, you'll never be bored again. I do kind of feel like that's probably something I need to do. Like, I do wonder sometimes, like, I'm about to be fucking 35 in June, and the fact that I don't have any kids is, well, that you guys know about. But it's just like, I don't know. It probably would be chaotic, limited sleep, and the ideal, I've seen so many people who have kids, but their relationship fails. And then it's like they love their children, but the children are very much like a heavy burden on their back because they're always concerned about their partner in that negative way, which sucks. But I do kind of think if you can kind of make that work with the relationship aspect and have the kids, it at least fills in the void, you know, of direction. I don't have a kid, but boy, do I have lots of nieces and nephews. Yeah, they're cool little things. Do I want kids? Yeah, I'd like kids. It'd be nice. Just be nice to have them, and I don't know, you get something to do, because it always seems like, you know, and it's funny, it's like in the social situations, it's like people with like relationships and kids always seem to take like precedent, you know what I mean? What would I name him? I don't even know, honestly. Fucking Ladarius Smoogsworth. Reed. LSD has made me very emotional. I'll pass, I'm sure, but I'm noticing it. You're taking LSD right now? That's not too... You name him Camelot, yeah. Joel Jr., Superman, and Piss Baby. progressively just get annoyed with them as I have more of them. I'm not even going to name the fourth one. Joel Jr., JJ. Jizz Jr. Jizzy J. He's going to have a rap name right out the womb. The key is who you have a child with, yeah. For sure. I mean, that's the difficult thing. Name it like Grimes, baby, yeah. Name it like a dial-up sound. Get over here. Am I excited for my birthday? Not really. Not like anything negative, because you guys always make things. I mean, I do really appreciate you guys just like getting on here and like suddenly have a slew of like a couple hundred people being really nice to me is like a pretty cool perk to life for sure. But I mean, like as far as the birthday goes, baseline, you know, I don't really have any plans. Don't really have like, I don't know. Do I have a gym crush? Like someone I want to crush when I'm at the gym? Just the weights. Just the weights. Just this workout. Get a dog instead, yeah. Maybe that's it, yeah, I don't know. I do wonder, like, what kind of terror getting a dog would be like, though, because I've, you know, raised quite a few growing up, and they always, at some point, when you're not paying attention, are just, like, ripping to shreds that one fucking thing that you, like, need them not to rip to shreds. Whether it be, like, an important cord, or a fucking Xbox controller, or just your couch. And you're like, God damn it. And then there's just, like, a big pile of poop, and you're like, alright. What kind of cake do you like so I can have some on your birthday? I do like well, I don't know, all the cakes are so good, but I do really like the ice cream cakes just because they're so fucking thick. Get a bald eagle or an exotic pet. Yeah, I just have like a full terrarium behind me. Just like a greenhouse in here with like gases and like spores. Oh, the ice cream Oreo, that does sound good. Less than 2 weeks. Is it really that? Damn. I don't know. If you guys have any ideas on what I should do for the B-Day. I mean, it's going to be on a Wednesday, so I do have to record that day, presumably. Presumably. Or maybe I switch up the fucking day that I do a compilation and put that on a Wednesday instead of the Monday, and then record on Sunday for Monday, and then just be free, essentially, for that Wednesday night stream. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of snakes. After you're done with the surgery, train for rock climbing again. Oh, that'd be good. You just had it on your 50th. Nice, dude. Oops. Fucking crap. Okay. But yeah, didn't this guy at this bar work at the bar? That he's like... Or was it another bar? I don't know. Jalen, welcome to the Butter Sock Culty. Now have access to bonus content. Thank you. I'm actually curious. I want to ask Chad, why would YouTube take away your ability to gift memberships? It seems like such a specific thing to just like remove, unless it's like a Streamlabs OBS issue. YouTube may restrict your ability to gift or receive channel memberships due to several factors. Here are the most common. Using a brand account. You are using a brand account, you might be ineligible to receive gifted membership. Not opted in receive gifts, geographic restrictions, account standing and activity, your eligibility. You know what I'm going to do real quick, just to test it? Maybe I can go into my own live stream just from the YouTube main page. And then see if it's available there. Oh, I can do it. Okay, so it is just an OBS issue. Wait, no. Membership gifting. Oh, okay, yeah. Okay. Yeah, so it was... I'm sorry about that. Well, I guess I owe you guys some anyways. It's been a while. What should you do for your 21st birthday? Should I get plastered or what? Well, if you do, just be careful. Nah, I mean... Because, you know, that's like... People can get really hurt doing like some crazy shit on it, but... Be sure to... At least if you do something, do it with people that care about you and want to look out for your best interest. Because obviously it's natural to drink on your 21st, but just... Yeah. Nick, welcome Nick, Johnny Disorder, Katie McFadden, Catbird, and Telecaster. There we go. Jensen, welcome back for 59 months to say, but my income, what did it say? What is it? Emaking Yimtub. I don't know what it says. What's up, sad Goral? Say the words backwards. Is it emotional damage? Why don't you take some time for yourself on your B-Day, like watch a favorite movie or something? I have too much free time anyways, honestly. Like, this is like literally the dumbest thing to bitch about, but one of the worst parts about like succeeding at YouTube is just like becoming further socially isolated. So like... You know, and as you get older, like other people, all your friends and whatever, they're busy with their own stuff. So for me, maybe I could travel. But I hate traveling by myself because it just feels weird. I never drank before, so I might as well just go all the way. Well, if you do, definitely just be fucking careful and make sure you're not with anybody who's like weird or bad or anything like that. All the words and bad. Income, Oh, come in my butt. Okay, there you go. Thank you, Jess. I didn't put two and two together. Yeah, but definitely be careful mixing alcohols, because I think that's the guaranteed number one way to throw up is like somebody hands you a shot for this, and then you drink a beer, and then you drink some wine, and you're just like projectile vomiting within like 15 minutes. It's like the worst thing ever. A true alcoholic sticks to their favorite. Usually he was well up for the party. Lit up. Okay, I guess we'll find out. The last time they talked to Jamie a couple of weeks prior, I hadn't seen. Okay. Yeah, whatever. We're going back. Sorry. Get so sidetracked. Yeah, you're going to go to specifically an old men bar. You go to you're like, whoa, this bar's full of like old men. I'm down to pick up somebody here. And then it's just a bunch of old gay men, and they become your best friends. She knew Jamie. Everyone behind the bar did, and he was easily their favorite customer too. That's why she was so protective in claiming not to know him, and regarding that protectiveness, there was something I needed to know. The last time they'd talked to Jamie, so a couple of weeks prior, he hadn't seemed himself. Usually he was well up for the... What was I saying? Usually he was well up for the party, lit up the room when he arrived, and was all hugs and kisses with anyone he knew personally. But on this occasion, he sat by the bar, not really socializing, and told one of the barmaids that he was waiting for someone. A very anxious-looking Jamie also told the barmaid that he was hoping to straighten something out with the person he was waiting for. But then after fiddling with his phone for a few minutes, most likely swapping texts with someone, Jamie told the barmaid that he might not see them for a while, and then off he went. The bar's manager also went to tell me that half the reason the supervisor had been so defensive was that just a few days prior, a guy had come in looking for Jamie. When the super asked who the man was, she'd never seen him at the bar before, he got very defensive and started demanding to know where Jamie was. He only left after two bouncers came downstairs to walk him out, and the manager said that his super thought... Oh, like a supervisor. Supervisor. I feel like that's just more clear. Julie Platt, welcome to the Butter Sock Call. You now have access to bonus content. Thank you, Julie. Take it from a professional drinker. Do not mix, yeah. Or just don't drink at all. Just never drink. A super thought, yeah. Take it from a super thought. Do I stream in the dark? I mean, the surrounding curtains that I built around me kind of create it to be pretty dark, but the outside is... There's Pradeep on my chair, having a sit. It is really cute that cats are always just kind of like within arm's length near you for the most part. I do feel bad for them because they seem very intelligent, but then are just kind of like forced to be stuck in the same environment forever. Yeah, I have RGBs everywhere. Everything's just rainbow colors and lights flashing. I'm in the Matrix pretty much. I was in a friend's house and his curtain flew open on its own. Ruh-roh. Hey, thank you, Dan. Oh, there's Hawk. What's up, bro? Long time no see, I feel like. Or maybe, were you here last time? It's been a while. Cat cam. I would if he has like a few places even within this confines that he rotates between, so I mean I guess could have one tuned on him at all times, but then I would probably just like accidentally have it like aimed at my butthole and not realize it. Being completely naked and cheeks spread. He only left after 2 bouncers came downstairs to walk him out, and the manager said that his supervisor thought I was another one of those guys looking for poor defenseless Jamie. Dude, every time I go to highlight something, it creates... There's like an AI thing or something that pops up that's like trying to get me to like leave editing comments, and it's so fucking annoying. Can I turn this off? He only left after 2 bouncers came downstairs to walk him out, and the manager said that his supervisor thought I was another one of those guys looking for poor defenseless Jamie. They were all worried about him, and they were going to be devastated when they heard that he hadn't been checking in with his grandparents. I also offered to put the manager in touch with Connell and Maureen, just to give some peace of mind that I had their grandson's best interests at heart. He declined, but appreciated the offer and said it did indeed. It did indeed. Hey Vince, thank you. Appreciate you. My birthday's 3 days after yours, and if you did a Pradeep cam for your birthday, I would cry and consider it a birthday present. I can post them on social media. Take a photo shoot with them. Honestly, I probably would post that and let people know about the birthday stream. That's a good idea. I'll do a community post and alert people that there's going to be a sick-ass thing going on. So many people outsourcing basic critical thought to AI. Yeah, it's weird because you don't realize it. Like even just like brainstorming ideas for something, you're like, man, like you do wonder to like what detriment you are doing yourself a disservice or whatever by asking AI just like simple brainstorming sessions. Hey Joe, I've been looking for a story about the one guy who submitted a story about picking up a girl after she fought with her boyfriend and he buried her somewhere. Yeah, I think I took that down just because I think it had to have been a troll because there was like no further information pertaining to it after like submitting it to the cops or whatever. And it was just out of respect for the family and shit, you know what I mean? Probably not a smart thing to like have posted a story that was like pertaining to a ongoing case, especially with like no confirmation or whatever. It's just not smart. Been watching The Last of Us? No, probably never will, to be honest with you. Yeah, I didn't notice until my one friend was asking me about how AIs work and how she can make her own, and I'm just like, nah dog, you don't basic coding. Yeah, she asks you how to make, hey, give me an idea of how I can make the next chat GPT. He declined, but appreciated the offer and said it did indeed do a lot of... Oh my god, this is a weird sentence. He declined, but appreciated the offer and said it did indeed do a lot to reassure him, and he also added that if he had to make a guess, he'd suggest Camden, where an old regular customer/boyfriend of Jamie's lived. And that's how I found out Jamie was involved in prostitution. The job that had more suited his lifestyle wasn't behind the bar of that trendy underground place in Soho, or at least not behind the bar anyway. The employment that had been getting him a load more cash than that coffee shop and that allowed him to mostly work at night was sex work. As you can imagine, this complicated the situation a great deal. For the most part, people who sell their bodies often put themselves in potentially dangerous situations on a near nightly basis, and they also tend to deal with some very shady people. Jamie could have pissed off the wrong client, ended up in debt with a pimp or a dealer, or simply gone home with someone who took their little games too far, maybe even fatally far. The absolute best I could come... It keeps repeating. You might just have to refresh it, I guess. Maybe let them know to just refresh the stream, I don't know. Wait, oh man, that's so annoying. Is the... Yeah, I don't quite understand. It's not doing it for you. Okay. Dude, I don't know. I don't know if it's a YouTube thing or what it is, but there's just such a lack of reliability with their streaming stuff sometimes. And I swear to God, I have the tippitiest top tier internet possible. And I feel like all my settings are good. Okay, well, as long as not everybody's struggling, I guess we're good. The absolute best I could hope for was that Jamie really had gone to shack up with this older customer or partner or whoever he turned out to be, and was keeping himself out of trouble. It also meant that I could focus my search around Camden, which wasn't quite the needle in a haystack situation I thought that it might be. I spent about 3 days trotting around Camden, sitting in cafes, stopping into pubs, and keeping Jamie's grandparents updated all the while. I didn't tell them all the stuff about his nightly activities or his newfound method of making money, but I did confirm their suspicion that he'd taken his party lifestyle a bit too far. That was the bad news, but when it came to the good news, there was plenty to be happy about. One of Jamie's closest friends, the manager of that bar that he'd been a regular at, had given me my biggest and most reliable clue yet to his whereabouts. I was close and I could feel it, and they were happy to hear it. Wait, how did he determine that Jamie was a sex worker? Did the guy working there, his friend, tell him about it? Streaming on YouTube's end is clear on mine. Got top tier internet. Okay. Do I have Apple AI turned on? No, what's that? I was close, and I could feel it, and they were happy to hear it. On that third day of hanging around Camden, keeping my eyes peeled and stopping at the occasional pub to ask the smokers outside if they recognized Jamie, I saw him. I was sitting in some trendy coffee shop. Wondering if I was just wasting my time going around Camden instead of following other leads, when in what... Oh my god, I got full dyslexia. Jamie was on Grindr. Oh, okay, maybe, I don't know. I guess the friend would know if he's friends with the manager there. I don't fucking know. I was sitting in some coffee shop wondering if I was just wasting my time going around Camden instead of following other leads, when a young man walked into the coffee shop to collect an order for pickup. He didn't use the name Jamie. He said Sean. And I didn't twig that it was him until I looked up and recognized a flash of bleached blonde hair under the baseball cap he was wearing. He had sunglasses on too, but they weren't big or garish enough to distract me from the facial features that I'd been looking at for almost a week by this point. The second he left the coffee shop, I started following him, keeping my distance but tailing him all the same. We walked all the way down Camden High Street and then turned onto Pratt Street in the direction of St. Martin's Gardens. I kept my distance as I walked. Wait, why didn't he just run up to him? If, his job was to find him, wouldn't it make more sense just to, run up and be like, "Hey, Jamie, what the fuck?" Oh, jump him. Yeah. I kept my distance as I watched him walk down the path of a large 3-story house. Then when he knocked on the door, it was answered by an older man he swapped kisses with before being welcomed inside. And that was Jamie's older lover. It had to be. So as far as I was concerned, I'd found him. Mission accomplished, I thought. It was late in the afternoon, so I called Jamie's grandparents to let them know that I'd found their grandson. I then asked if they wanted me to approach him or simply keep track of him so they could make their move whenever they were ready. I recommended they do it soon because it seemed like he was in trouble with someone, and there was a chance that he might move on somewhere else if he thought he was being followed. We talked on speakerphone so I could hear Connell and Maureen weighing up their options before they decided what they were going to do. In the end, they asked me to keep tabs on Jamie for just one more day, and that they'd have a definite answer by tomorrow. Now, I wasn't about to say no. Extra hours meant extra pay, so I parked a few houses down and then stayed up all night making sure that Jamie didn't go anywhere. The next morning, I got a coffee and some breakfast delivered to my car and was confident that no one had entered or exited the house Jamie was in. I stayed there until early afternoon, at which point I decided to give Maureen and Connell another call to see if they'd made their minds up yet. But no sooner had I pressed dial that... What? It's AI built into your phone. If you never use iPhone, I think 15, 16, you might have Apple AI turned on. Well, I'm not reading from my phone, if that's what you're asking. But no sooner had I pressed dial that I heard, "The number you have dialed is not currently available. Please hang up and try again." I thought Connell's phone was out of battery or something, so I gave it about 10 to 15 minutes, then called back, only to get the same automated message. I started to get a bit worried, because it wouldn't be the first time some scumbag targeted a person's family. As a way of getting to them. Sorry. Descending the little emojis boost the video. Yeah, dude, hit those as much as you can. Every emoji equals one viewer. Or maybe equals one-fourth a viewer. Hey, Christy, what's up? Christy, what's your favorite thing to cook since you're going to be a culinary genius soon? I started to get a bit worried, because it wouldn't be the first time some scumbag has targeted a person's... Sorry, I don't know what I'm doing. I can't get this sentence right. Lynn, thank you for the gifter to Kai McKissick. Welcome, Kai. Hey, Monica, thank you. Joel, the S in scumbag is silent? Oh, sorry, I was like, wait, what? I thought it was like, maybe it's a British thing. The old cum bag. I started to get a bit worried, because it wouldn't be the first time some scumbag had targeted a person's family as a way of getting to them personally. So I drove over to Maureen and Connell's house. To make sure that they were all right. I parked outside, walked up the path, but when I knocked on the door, neither Maureen nor Connell answered. Instead, it was a woman that I'd never seen before, who at first didn't seem to recognize their names. It was only after I explained who I was and that I'd visited not a week prior that she seemed to remember who I was talking about. She then explained that she was house-sitting for them while they were on holiday. I remember asking, "They've gone on holiday?" in total disbelief, because I'd spoken to them only just the previous evening. The woman then explained that she didn't know who I was. What the fuck is going on, bro? Where'd they go? The show's been my fave way of winding down recently. Thank you, Zach. Appreciate that. What's up, Dane? You're writing a manifesto. You're like, to all the women at Ulta that said that that blush wouldn't match my complexion, say goodbye. You've giggled your last giggle. The woman then explained she didn't know Didn't know what? The swords with silent K's, the K's to be pronounced. Oh, like Cano. Did you know about that? The Albert Fish story is the darkest one I think I've heard on this channel. Yeah, it definitely is. What? The woman then explained she didn't know what I was talking about, and that she was just the house sitter, and how she was sorry that she couldn't be of more help. I felt so confused, it was like feeling a migraine coming on, and I had to double check everything to make sure that I hadn't totally misheard her. Connell and Maureen were the homeowners, yes, but they'd gone on holiday that very same morning, apparently after having arranged it months prior. I told her that there must have been some kind of mistake, that they couldn't have gone on holiday, and at that... What's up, Silky? Silky Smood. These stories are not from Reddit, these are submissions. Which, if you do have a submission, please send it in to letsreadsubmissions@gmail.com, or you could do Reddit, reddit.com/r/letsreadofficial. Appreciate my Appalachian enunciation, yeah. Honestly, in my opinion, lots of ways to say it, but in some people's opinions, they get mad. They got them crazy opinions. I told her that there must have been some mistake, that they couldn't have gone on holiday, and at that... I told her... This is so weird. I told her there must have been some mistake, that they couldn't have gone on holiday, and at that, the woman started to get visibly agitated. She told me there was no mistake and that she couldn't help me, and that I should try calling Connell and Maureen again once they'd landed. The dead phones were probably because they were on the plane and switched them off. I walked away more confused than when I arrived, and after trying his mobile a few more times, Connell still hadn't switched it back on. My mind was ticking over, big time, wondering why a man would switch his phone off and go on holiday when he just paid a lot of money to have his... How did he do the transfer of money, I wonder? Extreme articulation. Maybe he got deported. Perhaps. My mind was ticking over, big time, and wondering why a man would switch his phone off and go on... Fuck. Yeah, did the guy even get paid? I don't know. I don't even know what year this takes place in. Yeah, maybe they use Zelle. How else do people say Apalachicola? Appalachia. I always used to say Appalachian. And everyone around me says Appalachian. But everybody gets mad when you don't say Appalachian. Because that girl on TikTok says Appalachian. There's like no more annoying videos than the videos that are like, as an Appalachian, I think that maybe we should start considering to like let people vote. It's like, okay, great, dude. Please find other creative ways to sell your OnlyFans. Appalachian, yeah, I don't even know. Applebee's, as an Applebee's employee, I think you should all send me money. Would you buy internal door locks to prevent your doors from being slamming on their own? Internal door locks. I don't know, dude. Smart, though. That is smart. My mind was ticking over big time, wondering why a man would switch his phone off and go on holiday when he's just paid a lot of money to have me find his grandson. And the more I thought about it, the more I got this horrible feeling in the pit of my stomach. I spent the next hour or so weighing up my options so I could take the best possible course of action for all involved. And in the end, I settled on warning young Jamie that his grandparents might be in trouble. I drove back into Camden, parked up by that St. Martin's Gardens, and then walked down the path of the house that I'd seen Jamie walk into. I rang the doorbell first, and it sounded a little bit too loud, like the door wasn't all the way closed, so I gave it a knock, only to find it creaked open a bit under the force. My bad feeling was absolutely peaking by then. I had been on the job long enough to know something was very, very wrong if a front door hadn't been shut properly, and there was no reply from anyone inside when I started calling out for somebody. I started to search the house, going from room to room until I eventually got to the master bedroom on the second floor. I pushed open the door, and there they were. Jamie, along with his older customer-turned-boyfriend, were lying on the bed, and from the looks of things, they'd been butchered. There was blood everywhere, so much of it that I knew that there was no chance either was alive. But I could also tell from the way they looked that they'd only been dead for maybe a matter of hours. Of course, I called the police, waited at the scene for them to arrive, and then told my story twice in detail. First to a uniformed officer, and then to an officer from CID once it had been established that two murders. What the fuck? What the fuck is going on? Remember the Firefox books on Appalachians? I don't know, dude. Firefox books. Let's say someone submitted a story. Would you spruce it up with your own flair if certain sections of the story sounded clumsy? I might do like loose editing, but probably not change it, as that might just like take too much time. Yeah, I thought it was going to be walked in on them getting busy, cuddling, watching Netflix, but no. Hey Joe, I've been listening to your voice since I was in 7th grade middle school. I'm 21 now in the Navy. That's wild. That is genuinely insane, because it's so crazy to I think about that sometimes, because like for me, right, when I started the channel I was like 24. Now I've obviously changed a decent amount since then, but I would say overall my brain is relatively the same to a certain degree. But I think about my brain from like 7th grade to like 21. That would essentially be like the same sort of vibe of like me being in 7th grade till now, in a weird way. So thank you for listening that long. That's wild. Light penetration to the stories, yeah. But yeah, I hope things are going well in the Navy. I know that can be tough stuff. A lot of busy work. First to a uniformed officer, and then to an officer from CID once it had been established that 2 murders had taken place. Dude, every time, that's so annoying. It's like every time I highlight something, it's got to like put something on screen that takes up right where I'm reading. First to a uniformed officer, and then to an officer from CID once it had been established that 2 murders had taken place. I didn't need to be fingerprinted or anything because as a former Met officer, my fingerprints are on file. But I did have to give an extensive interview describing exactly how I came to be involved in the case to begin with. Then the more I talked it out with detectives in the weeks and months that followed, the more I started to realize what had actually been happening. Connell and Maureen weren't just really Jamie's grandparents, and they probably weren't even named Connell and Maureen either. The woman whose house they'd used in their ruse... What? Whose house they'd used... What? He didn't... I thought he went to their house and, like, had biscuits and tea with them and shit. How do they use a house as a ruse? Wouldn't the woman that lives there be... Hey, Penelope, what's up? I don't know. I don't know what the fuck's going on. This is just like so many like jumps all at one time. So many twists and turns. The woman whose house they used in their ruse told us they'd turn up one day and gave her an offer she couldn't refuse. Clear out the house for a few days and hand over the keys or they'd burn it down with her in it. Oh, so they went and talked to her, I guess? What the fuck? I thought it was like he had come to that conclusion himself or something. The people were on vacation. Yeah, but it's saying that she owned the house, so they're saying that that couple like paid her to use her house, and then she was supposed to act dodgy about it? I don't fucking know, dude. But I mean, it's not an empty house if it was her. I don't know what the fuck. Anyways. The woman whose house they used in their ruse told us they'd turned up one day. Oh, I see. Yeah, it's saying it right here, duh, but still just weird. The woman who... The woman whose house they'd used in their ruse told us they'd turn up one day. No, they'd turned up. Sorry, I don't know why the phraseology just feels weird. From what I gather, she owned the house and they threatened her to pretend to be their housekeeper. I guess so. I don't fucking know. They cuckooed her. Cuckooed? It's kind of an awesome word. What does that mean? The woman... I don't know why this... The woman whose house they used in their ruse told us they'd turned. The woman whose house they used in their ruse told us they'd turned up one day and gave her an offer she couldn't refuse. Clear out the house for a few days and hand over the keys, or they'd burn it down with her in it. They gave her some money as a reward, or more like something to make sure she stuck to the story they'd given her. But when the police got involved, she was so scared that she handed over the money right away. £10,000, untouched and still wrapped in plastic in a shoebox. They'd completely pulled the wool over my eyes, and in doing so, they conned me into tracking down a person they wanted dead. And these murders went unsolved. It wasn't clear if all the butchery meant that it was a personal thing, or if a professional had dressed the scene up to look like it was a personal thing in order to confuse the police. It looked like someone had savagely attacked Jamie and his lover while they slept, but there was also no sign of forced entry and no evidence of anyone else having been in the house save for the stab wounds on their body. Whoever had done it might have done so right under my nose as I was watching the house at night. I guess so. That's kind of wild. Anywhere is a walking distance if you have the time, that's true. Okay, so it seems like an organized crime thing where criminals basically force their way into someone's house and then live there by threatening the homeowner. Usually they're a vulnerable adult. Okay, I guess that makes sense. That's crazy. Whoever had done it might have done so right under my nose as I was watching the house that night, Or they'd waited until I was no longer on the scene before slipping in through the front door with a lockpick or a copy of the key. And aside from the obvious details, the whole thing was a total mystery. Forensics even checked over that house that I'd first met them in for any DNA or hair indication of who Maureen or Connell might be. But they'd had the place completely scrubbed before allowing the woman to return home, and with the owner herself saying it smelled like a hospital for days afterwards. The identity of Jamie's lover also remains a mystery, or at least outside of a select few it did. Wait, what? They didn't identify the other body? The identity of Jamie's lover also remained a mystery, or at least outside of a select few it did. He'd been a well-to-do barrister, someone with a lot of money, and someone who's... or barrister, sorry. What's a barrister again? It's like a lawyer, right? Or a representative or something. A barrister. It's a lawyer, okay, yeah. Lawyer entitled for practice to as an advocate. Interesting. That's weird. It's a barista. A well-to-do barista. Can you imagine that? A barista with a college degree? Get out of here. He'd been a well-to-do barrister, Jesus Christ. He'd been a well-to-do barrister, someone with a lot of money and someone whose family wanted to keep his name out of the papers once it had emerged who he'd been cheating on his wife with. They filed all kinds of injunctions with the high court, so... that when all was said and done, Jamie's murder was relegated to just a few column inches that was never followed up on. In the past, I've spoken to private investigators who've talked about having that one case that always sticks with you, and for a long time I wondered which case would end up being mine. But after Jamie, I don't wonder anymore. He is that case, and he'll always be with me until the day I die. Your mom got a rotisserie chicken from Costco today? Nice, dude. Was it tasty and dipped in sarses? Imagine that kind of thing happening and then finding out you could have accidentally found out before the people died and been done by them too. Luckily, the person in the story was away. Yeah, I guess so. Do I have a favorite board game? I remember, like, when I was younger, I always really, really wanted to play Mousetrap. Because I just thought it was sick that, like, you could press a button and all these different traps started going off, and if you just so happen to be in the wrong spot, you know, it could be bad. But I remember buying one at a yard sale years after it initially released, and it didn't have all the pieces. So I was just, like, sitting there playing with it by myself, like, not really knowing what to do or how to play. And it was, I don't know. The live stories suck and are pointless. I mean, it's not really pointless because I'm, like, recording the stories for tomorrow. I promise they will have deep, intrinsic meaning when you watch the video later. Just finished a chicken chalupa from Taco Bell. That does sound good. Rude. Yeah, I don't know. Usually when people have, like, frustrations, I think the one thing that annoys me about people with frustrations is that they don't explain their frustrations. They just are mad, but they don't explain what they're mad about. And it's like, that's fair. I mean, there's nothing, you don't have to say anything, but, like, if you really want your point to stick, you should usually give your perspective beyond whatever. Can I cook? I can cook. I like to cook things, and I like to watch YouTube videos and throw stuff together, but I would say it's, even though I enjoy doing it, especially baked goods, I say because mainly the simplistic aspects are, like, you know, go-to stuff at home, like steak and whatever, is just easier, or just order out. What streamers do I like to watch? Like, a lot of Asmongold's videos come up sometimes, and I'll just have him in the background, but I watch a lot of, like like live streaming video or people. I'll watch like Battlegrounds players, like what's it called, Hearthstone Battlegrounds. I used to watch a lot of Overwatch streamers as well, but I kind of like despise Overwatch, so just not really into it. Whoever said this live is boring probably licks their fingers after they wipe it. That's the only way to clean it, baby. On Twitch, yeah, I'll watch some just battleground stuff on Twitch, but it's mainly just to zone out while I eat food or whatever. But it's also kind of boring too, because live streams are never quite as good as watching someone's YouTube videos, which is probably what the person was trying to say with my live stream, which is fair. When I first listened to the live streams, I was a little confused. Now I like the live streams more than the stories, no offense. No, that's totally fair. I mean, it kind of creates a nice little community, and I don't know, I enjoy talking to you guys and just seeing what your perspectives are on stuff, and kind of simulating friends IRL, you know? What YouTube cooking channels do I like? I don't really know any ones that it's mainly just watching them for tutorials if I have to, but even with cooking sometimes if it's simplistic, triggering some normies with Asman. I mean, I don't know, Asman's takes are pretty normie too, they're pretty average. In many ways, he's a pretty left-leaning guy as far as his perspectives go. So I never really understood the hate that comes towards him. It's just that as of lately, I think the Overton window has shifted so far left with some of the content creators that anything that deviates from that is considered some type of existential threat or whatever. It's whatever, dude. Am I a good cook? I mean, yeah, I guess so. Every food I've ever made is people enjoy it. You know what I mean? I try not to fuck it up, essentially. Do I tan in my oven? Yeah, I jump in there. Turn myself to a nice ashy black. Love Asman's commentary. Solly's very intellectually honest and reacts articulately to the trolls in the chat. Yeah, he's not he gets emotional about stuff, but you go to somebody else and they just immediately ban you, right? Or they, he engages with them, and sometimes he'll put them on the spot, and show the chat and see their perspective. But I think he's a nice guy, you know what I mean? I don't know. So many people just want to turn everyone that disagrees with them into some sort of epitome of the devil, and I think that's a logical fallacy that I hope most people can kind of grow out of or mature out of, because it's not really engaging with the argument if all you really ever think is in binary terms. What kind of mic do I use? It's a Neumann TLM 103. His Alex Jones video game critique was hilarious. I don't think I've seen that. It's funny though. I don't agree with him on UBI, and I don't agree, I'm not a big Bernie guy or anything like that, but, and I don't really watch his gameplay stuff, but it's kind of just something when the social commentary stuff I can put on and just kind of go about my day. Where was the story about the murdered lovers from? This one was sent in over email, yeah. Or is this the one we just read? If they don't agree with you, they want to cancel culture you. Well, if you think about that just from a logical perspective, that's just, we've gone over this a million times, but it's just tribal thinking, and it's a defense mechanism. People aren't comfortable with their opinions enough to articulate to you their perspective. If they disagree with you and get angry, the first person to get angry in a conversation about different opinions probably means that they're most likely incorrect, or at least incapable of explaining it, and that's a pretty common thing that people go through in life, is if they really believe something in a borderline religious way, it's connected to their identity, and if you disagree with them, it's their identity and worldview starts to break down around them, and of course it's going to make people insecure, right? And of course maybe they react emotionally, but I've always encouraged people to get a grip on their emotions, get a grip on their emotions. If the thing you really believe in, you believe in it, learn learn about it. Learn about the people that disagree with you. I heard some sort of like argumentative technique that actually is probably the best way to go about arguments in many ways, is when someone presents their oppositional perspective to you, articulate back to them their perspective in such detail and maybe beyond what they actually say in support of it, that they actually are the ones to say, oh, well, thank you for actually saying that. I've never even thought of it that way, in addition to what I thought, So then there's like a certain, almost like psychologically preparing them for a degree of like mutual back and forth respect. And then you can go from there. But the people that tend to use like sort of manipulative language or anger, or maybe they try to like weaponize a certain mob or monetization system against you, they've already kind of like lost the argument, because they have to weaponize censorship against you to like feel like they've won. And I think that's kind of creates a negative feedback loop in their mind, because, or maybe even a positive feedback loop where they think they're more correct because they got rid of you. And that tends to be their end goal, is they just want you gone. And I don't know, that can't be a healthy way to go about your whole life, is that every disagreement you have, the person that you're disagreeing with has to just disappear or die or something. Like, is that your end goal, to like get the person to kill themselves? Like, what the fuck's wrong with you? Sarah, welcome back for 14 months. As my dad always taught me, that everyone you ever meet has something to teach you, especially the people who have different perspectives. I agree, yeah. Like, it's, you never stop learning, and you can't just like ground yourself or dig your feet in deeper, or you just become rooted in that exact place and then you never see the world or anything in it. Amanda, thank you very much. Appreciate you. Doing my bi-weekly check-in. Big, what's up, dude? What's up, Scotsman? How we doing? The void gets bigger and bigger when they grow up and move away. Yeah. Tactical mirroring. Okay, interesting. Yeah, and I don't know. I know there's been like a huge push for like people over the course, since like the beginning of the Trump era. There's like specifically been like sort of a breeding into the population this idea of division, and I think we're getting away from it. I think it's starting to lose its power. It used to be like a magical spell that you could kind of just like say a pejorative, and it would get the person immediately to accept your postulation that they were the pejorative, and therefore they always had to defend themselves to impress you or to get you to escape what you've established as the reality. But, people are starting to realize that just because they try to establish a false reality upon who you are doesn't immediately mean that you have to entertain it, and doesn't mean that it has any value, and it's actually a net negative. And I hope people are starting to like wake up to it. Hey, what's with the big words? They're getting bigger. Too big. Rick Campbell, thank you for the 20. Says, I like your live streams as well. Thank you, Rick. Always appreciate you, dude. What you been up to? Rick, did you say you work in... Did you say you work in law, or is it real estate? I forget. It's a technique therapists use so they can introduce new perspectives without discrediting the perspective from the patient. Well, that's a good point, because if you think about it, like, a therapist probably deals with a lot of individuals whose perspectives are a bit grandiose or, for lack of a better words, insane. So if you're dealing with an insane person who is so grounded in this false reality that's not reality, you have to figure out a technique in which to like ease them back to earth, take them out of the sky and bring them down, but it has to be pretty slow. Or you have to almost like pretend the person that you're talking to is like high on LSD. And if you start screaming at somebody who's on LSD, they're just going to freak out more, and it's going to advance their, negative emotions even further. So you have to just like talk them off the fucking ledge. Babes, thank you so much for the gifters too. Naomi, Sarah, Zug, we got Kai, Marie, Angelina. What did we miss? Oh, and Hawk. Welcome. Sorry, when someone has a blue name, I like forget they can get gifted. As I get older, I'm realizing as well, not everyone should get access to your energy, because others do suck the energy out of you if you let them. It's true. And what's the point of chasing after someone that's like just going to take from you, you know? It's okay to be, like, selfish in that regard and just, like, to let go. I mean, because like, you see them, they're drowning, right? If you see, as like a lifeguard, and this wouldn't really apply to like a lifeguard because there's liability there, but say someone is drowning and you're trying to save them, but they're panicking and they're freaking out, is constantly dragging you down. I mean, if you sit there and keep trying to like pull them up, but they can't seem to like relax and calm down and allow you to help them, all they're going to do is drag you down to the bottom of the ocean into the darkness. I've let an old friend win too many arguments while we were growing up together because she tended to start contradicting herself to her. At 40 she still hasn't changed. Yeah, it's like, what's the point? I mean, I'm sure you care about them, but I don't know. I also just kind of like don't even engage with that shit anymore, really. Okay, so that was story 1. We got story 2 coming up. I physically can't stop from yelling at people who don't think space is real. Well, I don't know. I guess at the end of the day, my thought is with like space, I'm like, whether it's real, whether the Earth is flat, I'm not saying it is, but I'm just like, does it even fucking matter? You know what I mean? I'm never going there. I'm never having enough money to like go up into like low orbit or whatever, like Katy Perry. I don't even know if I would want to, even given the opportunity. So whether we exist in some sort of strange dimensional plane or like a blue rock floating in a stardust, who gives a shit? 3 stories tonight, yep. I'm gonna make like a baby and head out. Thanks for being so epic. Have a great night. Thank you, Prime. Take care, dude. Joel's your arch nemesis. I will send you into sub-orbit. You just uppercut me. Beautiful Joe style. Or like Captain Falcon. We need like another Captain Falcon game. Like not just like a racing game, but like a full-on, like a full-on... I don't even know what the story of Captain Falcon is, really. I know he can do some uppercuts. And he's quite agile. I had to quit pot after having a baby. I just thought that I would be on the couch fighting over a bag of Doritos with my kid. Now I have mushrooms and tea until my little is graduated. That's fair. Do I believe in doppelgangers? I mean, the term, and as far as somebody like looking like yourself and being a doppelganger, but as far as like a spiritual... I mean, are you talking about the spiritual entity that like mimics you or something like that? And that if you talk to them, it could be like bad? I don't know. The world is a turtle shell. Yeah, that's fine. I always wanted a Falcon game. He seems like he has more to offer than F-Zero Racing. Yeah, and like, I don't recall the F-Zero Racing games ever being good, but I also never really tried them. I think they were back on the GameCube era. I was on the fence about alien abduction until I saw Katy Perry's last concert performance. What happened? She got abducted. That'd be hilarious to go to a thing and like see someone get like picked off by aliens. Love from Thailand, people. England's a shithole. Move out when you can. Oh, damn. Did you move to Thailand from England? How's that going? Oh, SNES, N64, and GameCube. Interesting. So I was a cop for 15 years, mostly working financial crimes. I transferred from homicide to grand larceny division. I transferred from homicide to the grand larceny division quite early on and quickly discovered that the thing I enjoyed most was how numbers really can't lie. It almost didn't matter what suspects had to say during the interview portion of an investigatione. Investigazione. It almost didn't matter what suspects had to say during the interview portion of an investigation, because I knew that just one look through their accounts would tell me the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help them God. And I got pretty damn good at my job too, so much so that when I retired, I decided to hang out my... Wait, what is it saying? I decided to hang out my shingle as private detective. Was it like hang up my shingle? Oh. Hey, Gray, what's up, dude? I'm confused about this sentence. Does this... I'm just trying to see what they're trying to say. Does this sentence make sense? Thank you for the 5 gifters to Deshay, WEF, World's Existential Foe, Crystal, Devoured Eagle, and Jordan, Mass. The sentence mostly makes sense and conveys a clear idea, but a small tweak could improve. I decided to hang out my shingle at... What do I think about solar flares? Someone said about that, like shutting down my internet the other night, which it would be so weird that it specifically cuts out my internet but not the rest of my devices, if that makes sense. But I definitely believe in solar flares, and I think they probably have some of the biggest impacts on like our weather, way more than we like to believe. The phrase, what? The classic phrase for start. Whatever. Decided to. Oh, I see. I'll just say start a business. I didn't know that phrase. To Audioland, welcome to the Buttersock Cult. You now have access to bonus content. Did I stop going live on Twitch? Yeah, I guess I kind of got paranoid that it was like making my YouTube live streams flub up, so I just like didn't, and I wasn't really growing on there, so I didn't really care. Solar flares made me fat, yeah. They affect your cortisol. Or maybe I could just say like try my hand or something. I got pretty damn good at my job too, so much so that when I retired, I decided to try my hand as a private detective. My office wasn't much, and I didn't have the resources I did back on the force, but working on my own. Real estate, we have a 20-minute delay over here. I'm not ignoring you. Oh, no worries, yeah. That's crazy that there's a... I don't know, I feel like YouTube has so much delay on stuff. What do you think about Kamehamehas or death beams? Dude, they're coming. They're on their way to Earth. They come faster than the speed of sound, shooting into our atmosphere, but it takes 3 business days to get from the sun. My office wasn't much, and I didn't have the resources I did back on the force, but working on my own suited me just fine. I got to pick my own cases for once, stuff that really caught my attention, which included the one that I'm about to tell you. One day, a lawyer that I'd known from my police days gave my office a call, saying that he had... Damn, I keep like... Some of the words just kind of blend together so much. He had. Saying yay, yay, yay. One day. Elliot, welcome to the Buttersock Cult. We now have access to bonus content. Why does this story sound so familiar? I mean, it hasn't really even started yet. I mean, it is a private investigator story, but I don't feel like we have any information on it yet other than like financial crimes or something like that. Are we friends? Yeah, we're friends here. What's my thoughts on discretion? I have no discretion. I kick in all doors. Right off the hinges. You swear I've read this before? I don't know. I'm just literally only been like a paragraph thus far. I don't know about Ebola, but okay, that HIV is a legitimate date idea for some people. It's like a thing for some weirdos to want to catch it if they're called bug catchers. Yeah, but isn't it... Why would you want to get HIV, though? Doesn't it slowly destroy your immune system till you, like, die of some, like, secondary infection? That sounds like it would be the worst existence of all time. And don't they have medications to prevent that anyways? Why would you just want to get it? One day, a lawyer that I'd known from my police days gave me my... Man, I am struggling. That's a good date idea. You have that in your, like, Tinder profile. First date idea. I give you HIV. I didn't recognize that as a red flag initially, but later on I realized that it was. One day, a lawyer that I'd known from my police days gave my office a call, saying that he had an important client who'd required my services. It turned out a certain massive multinational company thought someone was messing with their cash flow, which ran like a river through almost every major country on the planet. Given my background, the lawyer figured that I was the right man for the job, and considering the pay they were offering, I didn't disagree. The company had accounts scattered across the globe, and the paperwork was a maze of transfers, receipts, and invoices. Piercing it all together proved to be one hell of a task, but I'd seen worse in my time on the force. I started poring over spreadsheets and bank statements looking for anything that didn't quite fit or seemed out of place. And then after a few days of searching, I found something. I started to nosel. Sometimes I mix the word with the next word. You can get it to undetectable levels. Interesting. Because it's the in thing and people don't die from AIDS anymore, HIV, so it's the... I don't even know, bro. I don't even... I presume there's no trend on desiring to die a slow and painful death. Even if it is treatable, it's like, why would you even want to risk something like that? It's not like getting chicken pox. The grammar's bad. Sometimes I just kind of fumbling the ball here. I started to notice subtle inconsistencies in the international cash flow. Stuff like payments being funneled to shell companies that didn't seem to do anything, amounts that didn't match the usual patterns, and transactions which popped up at strange hours. To anyone else, what I was looking at might have seemed like nothing more than innocent clerical errors, but I knew better. Money was slipping away, and someone was making that happen. I spent the next few days cross-referencing records or tracking the flow of cash from one account to the next, and the deeper I dug, the clearer it became that the discrepancies I was seeing weren't an accident. Someone inside the company was siphoning funds, and they were pretty damn good at covering their tracks, too. Just not quite... What's the story about? It sounds like it's financial crimes and Private Investigator looking into it. Hey, Mudget. What's up, dude? Miss Rage, don't you... I feel like your streams buffer quite frequently. Is your internet kind of poopy? Someone inside the company was siphoning funds, and they were pretty damn good at covering their tracks, too. Just not quite good enough to hide it from me. The numbers had given me a trail, but I needed names to go with it, so I set up interviews with key players in the company, one of which was the CFO, the guy who's paid to keep the books clean. And I met him in that sleek office of his, with its floor-to-ceiling windows and a view of the city skyline, and he greeted me with a handshake and a smile. At first I kept it light but professional, and asked a bunch of very generalized questions about the company's finances. Then once the CFO was comfortable, I started zeroing in on one payment, a large transfer to a vague overseas account that had caught my eye. I wanted to know who signed off on it. But when I asked him, he said he couldn't recall. It must have been someone in his department, but he didn't handle every detail himself. Coming from the CFO, that did not sit right with me, not one bit. People in his position don't forget who approves a 7-figure cash transfer to an overseas territory, so as you can imagine, his answer left a very sour taste in my mouth. Next on the interview schedule came some of the CFO's co-workers, people who worked closely enough with him to know his day-to-day activities. One was a mid-level manager who handed "Hey chat, question mark. What's up, broski? Anyways, I gotta go. I'm taking a trip back down to the store. I'm trying to find my piece of tinfoil I was smoking off of. Where do I submit stories? Let's read submissions at gmail.com. Hopefully you can find some good tinfoil. Make a hat out of it. What's up, Sam? Did something happen? People were saying hello? Oh, the guy said, hey, chat, that's right. Sorry, somebody typed hey, chat, and I don't know if maybe they're testing or something. One was a mid-level manager who handled international accounts, and when I asked about that same transfer, he scratched his head and mentioned a meeting where it had been discussed. The CFO had also mentioned such a meeting but claimed that he hadn't attended, yet when I asked that mid-level manager if the CFO was present that day, he said yes. I pressed the manager for details, but he stuck to his story, saying the CFO had been present at the meeting, and unless there had been some grand miscommunication, he'd been well aware of the amount and destination of that transfer. God damn it. I just can't get the words together. You have polyps in both your ears, they're hollowing out on the bone, and I'm losing hearing because of it. It causes extreme nerve damage and infection. I had surgery, but have no insurance. Oh man, I'm sorry. I pressed the manager for details, but he stuck to his story, saying the CFO had been present at the meeting, and unless there had been some grand miscommunication, he'd been well aware of the amount and destination of the transfer. Next, I talked to an assistant who had been with the finance team for years. She acted very nervous as she claimed not to remember any specifics, but did say that she remembered the CFO signing off on something big around that time. She said it had seemed urgent too, and that the CFO had told the finance team to get it done fast. I now had two different stories, both clashing with the CFO's. version of events. The cracks were showing, and I could feel the case was starting to heat up. After that last interview, I left the building and headed to my car, which was parked in a quiet lot about a block away. I had a small tape recorder that I used to record thoughts after meetings, an old habit that I kept from my days as a cop. So after I slid into the driver's seat, I hit record and started thinking out loud like I'd done so many times before. I laid out what I'd learned, from the suspicious gaps in the CFO's memory to the assistant's offhand comment about the rush job, and I figured that I could be onto something significant. The next step was finding out who owned that overseas account, and I figured there was a pretty good chance that sooner or later, my hunt for its owner would lead me right back to the company itself. After that, I remember saying something about how the CFO might prove to be a key player in what could prove to be a huge case of international wire fraud, but I never got to finish that thought. A sudden crack split the air, and before I could react, my driver's side window exploded inward and showered me with, oh shit. Oh shit! A rat! A sniper! It's Agent 76. And what's the agent from the Hitman games? Is it Agent 76? Great job, Agent. Maybe it's Agent 7. I don't even know. Wish you got stream notifications. Still get used to the schedule. Yeah, that's why I was Agent 47. That's right. Wart. Yeah, I I don't know. I literally don't know how to, get YouTube to do better notifications, honestly. I've heard of Overwatch. The Demon's game. A sudden crack split the air, and before I could react, my driver's side window exploded inward and showered me with glass. Instinct kicked in and I ducked down in my seat, but I didn't move fast enough. 4 shots rang out, one after the other. The first bullet tore a hole through the dashboard just above my lap. It splintered the plastic and I felt the vibration of the impact in my thighs. The second shot grazed my left shoulder, slicing through my jacket and shirt, peeling back the skin. Blood welled up instantly, soaking my sleeve as I jerked sideways and slammed my head against the steering wheel. The third bullet punched into the passenger seat beside me, missing my ribs by a matter of inches. I felt the seat shudder as it slammed through the stuffing, and my heart was like a jackhammer in my chest, and adrenaline screamed at me to flee, but there was no time to process what was going on before the fourth shot hit me square in the jaw, and everything changed. The impact was like a sledgehammer swung full force into my face, and I'll never forget the feeling of the pain suddenly exploding through my skull. The bullet entered just below my left cheekbone, shattering bone and teeth as it carved a path. The bullet entered just below my left cheekbone, shattering bone and teeth as it carved a path through my jaw. I felt the sickening crunch of it breaking apart, fragments grinding. Jesus, dude. Hey, Oxy, what's up, dude? What's the good news? What's the good poos? I felt the crunch of it breaking apart, fragments grinding against... I cannot read. I felt the crunch of it breaking apart, fragments grinding against each other as the slug ripped through muscle and exited just below my ear. My mouth flooded with blood, but all the chalky grit of my own... My mouth flooded with blood, but also the chalky grit of my own shattered teeth. My vision was blurred, and the world seemed to just sort of tilt on its axis as shock set in. My hands flailed, searching for something to hold on to, be it the door, the wheel, anything, but I felt my body shutting down. Darkness crept into the edges of my vision, and the last thing I remember was the faint hiss of the tape recorder still running as I slipped into unconsciousness. The next thing I remember was waking up in a hospital bed, hearing that steady beeping cutting through the haze. My entire body was aching. It hurt just to breathe, and my shoulder burned where that bullet had just grazed it. But that was nothing compared to my jaw. It felt like someone had bolted a steel vise to my face and cranked it tight, which in a sense is exactly what the doctors had done to keep my skull together. Every time I tried to speak, swallow, or move my mouth, a jolt of agony shot through me. But the worst was when I used my tongue to probe the damage, feeling empty sockets where my teeth once were, and the cold feeling of the metal wires holding my shattered jaw together. I don't know exactly how long it was after I woke up, but a nurse noticed that I was awake and hurried over to me. She told me not to move, and at first, I had no memory of how I ended up in the hospital. But as soon as she started explaining that I'd been shot multiple times, all those memories flooded back. The shoulder graze was minor, she said, but the jaw wound was bad. The bullet had entered my left cheek, fractured my mandible in 2 places, obliterated half my lower teeth, and then exited near my ear, taking out a chunk of soft tissue with it. They'd rushed me into the ER to stop the bleeding and stabilize the bones, and the surgery had been a success. She kept saying that I was lucky to be alive, but in that moment I didn't feel very lucky. I remember the frustration I felt as I tried to ask questions, but with my jaw wired shut, the words came out as nothing but garbled nonsense. I gestured for something to write with, and the nurse handed me a notepad and pen. My hand shook as I started scrawling these things, asking what happened and who shot me. She didn't know much, just that the police were investigating and would soon visit me. I tried to nod, but even that small motion sent a flash of pain through me. Later, the surgeon came by. He was a tall man with a calm voice that somehow made me feel at ease despite everything, and after some initial questions, he pulled up a chair and laid it out for me. Treating the graze to my shoulder was pretty simple, and all they'd needed to do was clean and stitch and bandage that. But my teeth was a lost cause. The bullet had smashed them into splinters, so they'd extracted the roots and shards during surgery and then suctioned out the mess. When I took LSD and shrooms, a finch came down from the tree I was sitting at and let me hold him. Oh, that's crazy. That must have been like a spiritual experience. Have you seen the ship smash into the Brooklyn Bridge? I heard about that. Didn't we have like a ship smash into people like not that long ago in like Baltimore or some shit? That's kind of crazy. And now we get another ship. Let's look it up. What's the story on the ship smashing in Brooklyn? Brooklyn! Do I chew on wheat? Yeah, I just got a piece of straw sticking out of my mouth. Mon Blue, it's your birthday. Happy birthday. Or when is your birthday? I chew on feet, yeah. Okay, on Saturday, May 17th, 2025, the Mexican Navy's tall ship Cuauhtémoc collided with the Brooklyn Bridge in New York City, resulting in 2 fatalities and multiple injuries. Holy shit. Cuauhtémoc, a 297-foot-tall training vessel with 277 people aboard, was departing from Pier 17 around 8:20 p.m. as part of a goodwill tour. Shortly after departure, the ship lost power and began drifting backward in the East River. Its towering masts struck the underside of the Brooklyn Bridge, causing all 3 to snap. Some crew members were on the mast at the time, leading to a chaotic scene with individuals dangling from rigging and others injured by falling debris. 2 Mexican Navy cadets lost their lives in the accident. At least 19 others were injured with several critical conditions. The National Transportation Safety Board is leading the investigation, and the conclusion preliminary reports suggest that a combination of mechanical failure, strong river currents, and possibly inadequate tugboat assistance contributed to the accident. Footage shows the ship moving in reverse at full speed before the collision. Damn. Oh, it was like a... Oh, wow. Jesus, they just like had no idea that they didn't know the clearance on that, I guess. That's fucking crazy. Hey, Finksy, have a good night, sorry. The Brooklyn Bridge. The Brooklyn Smidge. That's scary, man. That kind of thing happens in the UK with lorries quite a bit. Oh, okay. All those people named Laurie. What about Lorenz? The bullet had smashed them into splinters, so they extracted the roots and shards during the surgery and then suctioned them all out to prevent infection. My jaw was wired shut, this grid of metal loops keeping it immobile while the bones were fused, and he said that it'd probably be weeks, maybe months before they could remove the wires, and even then, I'd need dental implants to replace what was gone. I listened, head swim. I was listening, but my head was going absolutely nuts from the meds and the shock, but all I could do was wonder who had shot me, and whether or not they'd try and finish the job. 2 detectives arrived the next morning and stood by my bed as I wrote out everything I remembered. They read over what I'd written and then filled me in on some of the details that I was missing. Thanks to the bullet holes in the dash and the seat and the blood soaked into the upholstery, my car was officially a crime scene until it could be cleared for release. The tape recorder had caught the whole thing, the cracks of gunfire, my choking, and then the silence after I passed out, so I guess that was being held for evidence as well. And like the nurse, the detectives told me that I was lucky, not because of the circumstances of my injuries, but because the person they believed had been hired to kill me had been an amateur and not a pro. A real hitman. Instead of Pikmin, it's hitman, and you pick a bunch of people to go kill people with kind of like the Pikmin game. Think about that for a second, how crazy that would be. How do you not know the size of your ship? Did it say that... I feel dumb. Did it say that the ship drifted or something? Was departing as part of a goodwill tour. Shortly after departure, the ship lost power and began drifting. Oh, okay. It lost power and drifted. I feel like that sounds like a made-up story, but maybe. Maybe just to cover their asses. What's up, Queef? How you doing? It's a big ship. It's a really big ship. A real hitman would have made sure that I wasn't breathing before leaving the scene. The detectives also told me about the security camera footage they had from a store across the street. It showed a grainy figure little more than the shadow of the back of an arm. It showed a grainy figure, little more than the shadow of a back and an arm. Shadow of a back and an arm. It showed a grainy figure, little more than the shadow of a back and an arm, as he hesitated, fumbled the shots, and then just ran off in a panic. One of the detectives said that it looked like a first-timer, someone cheap and desperate. They'd found a 9mm shell case. They'd found 9mm shell casings at the scene, but no prints and therefore no clear leads. In response, I wrote down something about my suspicions regarding that company CFO, and they nodded and said they'd look into it, but I saw the skepticism. Corporate cases were always murky and convoluted, and without evidence tying the hit to someone specific, even making an arrest would be a long shot. For the next few weeks or so, the hospital became my entire world. Even with all the pills, the ambient pain was a constant companion, like a dull ache in my jaw that flared up into razor-sharp spikes every time I made the wrong move. Eating was impossible, so I was put on a liquid diet and fed through a straw. The nurses blended my meals into a gray mush consisting of things like broth, mashed veggies, and protein shakes. It tasted like wet cardboard and swallowing hurt, but I had no choice other than to force it down if I wanted to stick to my recovery schedule. My shoulder healed fast, but the stitches itched. Who's mad for 2 hours? Yo, Justin, what's up? See, that's what I'm saying, even regulars, it doesn't notify about the streams. It's really annoying. Would I beat up your bullies? Yeah. I'd jump off the high bar, clothesline them, and then pin them both at the same time. Double pin. I'd use a voodoo doll on them, but you would have to get a slice of their hair. So while they're holding your head and they're giving you a swirly in the toilet, I need you to pull out some scissors and get a snip. When I beat up your victims, yeah. Physical therapy started early, which amount... Wait, did I miss something? Yeah, I think I scrolled down. For the next week, there's been an entire world eating it. My shoulder healed fast, but the stitches itched under the bandage. Infection was definitely a risk, but the nurses kept me pumped full of antibiotics to keep that at bay. Physical therapy started early, which amounted to this grueling routine aimed at stopping my jaw from locking up permanently. A therapist named Claire visited me every day. She was all smiles and patience and would sit me up, prop pillows behind me, and then guide me through exercises which stretched my muscles. My muscles. My muscles. She was all smiles and patience and would sit me up, prop pillows behind me, and then guide me through exercises which stretched my muscles without crack. She was all muscles and patience and would sit me up, prop pillows behind me, and then guide me through exercises which stretched my muscles without cracking the healing bones. She'd ask me to open my mouth, and I'd be in so much pain that I'd started sweating as I tried. But I did try. God damn it, every time I highlight something, it does that stupid thing. She'd ask me to open my mouth, and I'd be in so much pain that I'd start sweating as I tried. But I did try. And some days I could manage a few millimeters, and other days nothing at all. On those days, Claire would just sort of nod, completely unfazed, and jot notes while I just silently cussed myself out. I felt trapped in a body that wouldn't obey me, but Claire kept... Fuck, dude. I felt trapped in a body that wouldn't obey, but Claire kept the faith that I'd be able to heal, and she was eventually proven right. Sometimes it felt like the silence was worse than the pain. I'd always been something of a talker, but after that shooting, I was a mute, scribbling notes or pointing like a nonverbal child. Friends visited, bringing cards and awkward stuff. Friends visited, bringing cards and awkward energy, but I couldn't join in, and I wouldn't be in the mood to celebrate my survival for quite a bit of time after that. My sister stopped by too, just sitting quietly with tears in her eyes as she watched me sip my food through a straw. And I hated the pity, the way it made me feel weak and pathetic. One of those detectives stopped by once to update me on the case. They still didn't have any suspects, but they were determined to find the shooter and make him talk. I asked him to keep digging, and he promised he would, but the way he sighed before he left... Yeah, out of a crazy straw. It's like doing like loops throughout the whole hospital room. Like, why the fuck is this straw so big? Justin's pregnant. Congrats, dude. He's gonna poop it out. He's like Arnold Schwarzenegger in that movie. I asked him to keep digging, and he promised he would. But the way he sighed before he left told me everything I needed to know. The shooter might have been an amateur, but he'd gotten the basic right. God damn it, I was on a roll for a while. The shooter might have been an amateur, but he'd gotten the basics right. So I had to accept the chances of finding him were pretty much slim to none. The shooting turned out to be just as... The shooting turned out to be just as psychologically damaging as it was physically damaging, and I was plagued by nightmares from... Oh god, now Pradeep's ripping the shit out of the couch. Can you hear him back there? The shooting turned out to be just as psychologically damaging as it was physically damaging, and I was plagued by nightmares for months afterwards. I'd hear gunshots echoing in my dreams, feel the glass shattering and that taste of blood in my mouth. I'd sit upright with my heart racing and try to yell out, only to feel pain shoot through my jaw. During the calmer daylight hours, I'd replay the attack in my head, wondering who exactly wanted me dead. The CFO's smug face kept surfacing, but I knew that he couldn't have been working alone. And that's about the time the paranoia started creeping in. I would stare out the window in my hospital bed, half expecting to see a sniper on the roof opposite that. I'd stare out the window in my hospital room, half expecting to see a sniper on the roof opposite me. The nurses noticed my jumpiness and upped my sedatives, but that really didn't help. Not really. And after just shy of 2 months in that hospital, after just shy of 2 months in that hospital, I was finally discharged. I thought it'd help to get... Jesus Christ, dude. Like, once I lose it, I just, lose it completely. It's so fucking annoying. I'll do a factory reset on my brain. We believe. We believe. I thought that it would help to get back to the familiar, but... Fuck, now my voice is cracky. God fucking damn it. I do need some magnesium. I thought it'd help to get back to the familiar, but I was wrong. I didn't feel comfortable in my apartment. I felt too exposed and too vulnerable. I couldn't stay, not with the shooter still out there. I packed, sold my office lease, and moved to a new town before setting up again under a fake name. Now, I take infidelity cases, small, safe, and simple jobs where the risk levels are minimal. I watch from a distance, using cameras and caution, avoiding anything that smells like corporate greed. I still got the scars. My jaw clicks when I eat, and I got a crooked smile and some missing teeth that the implants couldn't fully fix. Speech came back slowly, and I manage now, but those who knew me before say they can hear the difference. The nightmares still visit me sometimes, just less and less frequently, and I've learned to live with them. No one ever worked out who that shooter was or who hired him. So about 6 or 7 months in, I got a call from the detectives to say that they were being transferred from the case. I wasn't mad. I knew they tried their best, and I'd already kind of resigned myself to never seeing justice for what had been done to me. I wasn't mad. God damn it, I can feel my voice not well back there. Scream. That should open me up. I wasn't mad. I knew they tried their best, and I'd already kind of resigned myself to never seeing justice for what had been done to me. But it still stung knowing whoever shot me was free, and in all likelihood, they'd probably try to kill again. In terms of who paid them... Fuck, dude. I don't know why I keep... Also, the other day, yesterday, the fucking allergies in the air were so bad. It was nuts. I've never had allergies, but I stepped outside and I was just immediately sneezing, stuffy nose. It was crazy. And then I got back home and I was fine. Just insane to me. I'm going so fast. Too fast! Too fast! In terms of who paid them, The CFO is my best guess, but the truth is, I'll never know. The company rolls on and I'm just a guy who got too close. But I survived, and that's enough for me. But I survived, and that's enough for me. The cloud seeding time of year. I thought about that too. I was like, maybe the fucking chemtrails are getting into the air or something more so, but I also thought, I'm like, don't the cloud seed all fucking year? This shit's so annoying. Can they ever do anything nice to us? Sing us a song. Sing us a song, Mr. Piano Man. Sing us a song tonight. We just took a shit and we forgot toilet paper. How am I supposed to wipe? La da 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 dee. La da dee dee doo da dum dum. Okay. I'm gonna go get some tea or some shit. We got one more story after this. And shit. And yeah. I'll be right back. Feel free to talk amongst yourselves. Be nice. Don't argue. BRB. Who up feeding they frog? What's up, dudes? I got this new, like, well, it's not new, I guess, but it's just like a cacao style tea. It's only 5 calories. Basically on another planet. How could you start the stream hella early and make me miss it? How dare you not cater to me specifically? That's true. You are the center of Mars. Your frogs are asleep. Shouldn't they be up croaking? Croaking they shit. It's good though. It's very tasty. That's one of the nice things about not eating for a day, is that things just taste better when you do get them. Seen the picture of the little frog butt? It's so cute. It's going viral everywhere. This frog butt. The frog butt I can't even say it. Frog butt picture ends up on Ellen DeGenerate. Frog treeks. I'm trying to explain to someone why I always say that I'm listening to Joel is a struggle. She up listening to Joel. Yeah, I wonder if that'd be kind of awesome if Alex Jones did experiments on frogs in his spare time. I told you, it was the atrazine, changing their genders. Please respect my frog's pronouns. I get naturally high after a 72-hour fast. Yeah, the longest I think I've done is just 48 plus hours. I've never really gone anything beyond that. And I guess it's nice because, like, once you do that, you, like, mentally are just pretty comfortable with the idea of, like, not eating for a bit. You talk to other people and they're like, I haven't had anything since second breakfast. And you're like, sucks to suck, dude. I'm built for survival. Hey, Cody, what's up, dude? Gotta go listen to Joel. He's giving a sermon. A spooky sermon. I don't know why, but when I get really hungry, my neck fizzes. It's such an uncomfortable feeling. I have to eat. It fizzes. I wonder what that is. Fizz. Weird. There's an EDM remix of Alex saying the whole thing on SoundCloud. It's so funny. Nice, dude. Oh, acid reflux. Yeah, maybe that is what it is. That would make some sense. Like, just make sure you probably just need to drink some water in that case, just to dilute the acid. The gag reflex. Apparently some spinal fluid. What? Did you have like an injury or something? That's weird. Or is it like your spinal fluid's like seeping into your skin or something? I don't know. It's really strange. I've had that before, and it's the back of my neck, but the base of my head and the bubbles in my head. Just because you don't eat? I don't get that. Alright. Shall we continue? We got one more story. This one's not as long as the others, but... Boop! With the 369 Buttersock text for your Fibaguchi tattoo. Holy shit. I still need to get that lower back. You've done a 30-day fast with my brother. He's religious. 30-day fast. Holy shit, bro. Is that even possible? You just like, what do you consume during that whole time? Do you have to consume like electrolytes and shit? How do you combat low energy from fasting? I would just say take it slow. You know, do like an intermittent fasting to see if you're okay with that for a little bit, and then get comfortable with like the 24-hour or 36-hour fast. But obviously don't take it beyond anything that you feel like would be detrimental to yourself. Let's read. You have helped me stop drinking in order to sleep. Thank you. You're welcome, my friend. Drinking is very bad. But I got a fake ID, though. What do I think about vanilla? Vanilla's pretty tasty. Vroom, vroom. Tried fasting for Ramadan. Oh, Lord, it was rough. Yeah, because it's like you can only eat during the sun is not out. I feel like it would be easier to have Ramadan during, like in a northern hemisphere, because if it's in the southern hemisphere, it's like during the summer, or like the weather's kind of like the days are longer. When the sun's sleeping and I can't see you eating, have led me to start drinking instead of sleeping. Okay, perfect. You guys exchanged skill sets. No, it was a straight 30-day fast, nothing but water or juice or broth. Man, dude, I'd be chugging broth like no other, bro, if that was the case. 30 days. I mean, how much weight did you fucking lose during that? Did you, like, just get down to, like, nothing? Did you do any exercise? Did you feel, like, emaciated? Were you, like, praying? Did you feel, like, spiritually clear? Like that? All that sounds miserable. I have always been fascinated with detective stories. The idea of solving mysteries and uncovering secrets was thrilling to me, and so after I graduated college with a degree in criminal justice, I immediately started working towards earning my license. I found a firm that coached me through the application process while giving me some training, and then once I was fully insured, my first real job came sooner than I expected. A woman hired our firm to follow her husband because she thought that he was cheating on her, and since it was little more than a basic tailing job, my boss gave me the case. My boss gave the case to me. I was excited to get started, but deep down, I was very nervous too. It was my first real case, and I really didn't want to mess it up. But the first few days, I followed that husband without incident. I kept my distance, blending into the background as best I could as I figured out his routine. I trailed him in my beat-up car and on foot, depending on where he went, jotting down notes in a little pad that I carried. Nothing he did seemed suspicious yet, but I figured it was just a matter of time. On the first day, I parked a block away from his office and watched him through a windshield as he arrived. Then during lunch, I sat across the street from the sandwich shop that he walked to, sipping coffee while keeping an eye on him through the window. That evening, when he went home, I called it a day, feeling just a little frustrated with the complete lack of progress. The second day was essentially the same as well. I followed him to the sandwich place, and then after work I tailed him from a few cars back, careful to not get too close. And by the third day, I felt almost comfortable, and I followed him to a bar after work, slipping inside and taking a seat at the opposite end of the counter. I ordered a soda and kept him in the corner of my eye as he laughed with his buddies over beers. He didn't meet any women or act sneaky, but I stayed patient. I knew investigations like this took time, and I wanted to do the right thing by my boss as well as our client. But everything changed on the fourth day. The husband went to the bar after work, but around 11 p.m., instead of calling a cab, he wandered outside and started walking downtown. I remember following him on foot, keeping a block between us, thinking, this is way outside his regular pattern, and he's got a few beers in the tank. This is it. I got him. We moved through the busy street together, and then turned into a quieter residential area with old brick buildings and narrow side streets. I kept on his tail, then watched as he suddenly turned a sharp corner. Not wanting to let him slip away, I sped up a little, but when I reached the corner, he was gone. The street in front of me was lined up with parked cars and closed storefronts, but no people. I slowed down, scanning every doorway and shadow in the hopes of spotting him, and my gut told me that he couldn't have gone far, so I kept going. After maybe 50 yards or so, I stopped at the mouth of a dark alleyway on my left-hand side. It was narrow, barely wide enough for two people to pass, and the dim streetlights didn't reach far inside. I took a few steps down it, straining my eyes against that darkness when a hand shot out and grabbed me by the arm. Before I could pull back, My shoulder hit the brick wall as I was shoved against it. I tried to fight, but then I saw the knife and froze. It was dark, and it all happened so fast that I didn't realize who it was, but when I did, my blood ran cold. It wasn't just some street thug looking to rob me. It was him, that husband. He leaned in until his face was just inches from mine. I could smell the booze on his breath and see the anger in his eyes. He kept the knife's tip digging into my shirt, just enough to let me feel the sharp point, and he didn't say anything at first, just glared at me, letting the silence stretch out until my knees felt weak. He then leaned in just a little closer and in a low voice told me to... Oops. My knees got weak. This hand sanitizer contained calories. I think like 5 calories a serving. Hey, see ya, Penelope. Take care. He got mom's spaghetti all over his shirt. About a dude visiting his girlfriend and her family farm during the summer, and the family is raising cow pig abomination to stay young and make silver. I do recall that. I think that was bonus, one of the bonus content stories, was it not? Called like The Farm or something? But I guess that would have ended up on one of the episodes of Scariest Stories You've Ever Heard. One of the episodes. What's up, Lady-O? Lady-O. One of the Bone Us content. He then leaned in just a little closer, and in a low voice told me he'd cut me open and bleed me like a pig if I didn't tell him who I was and why I'd been following him. As the knife twitched against my stomach and I imagined the pain of it slicing through me, I'd never been so scared in my whole life. I tried to think fast and keep calm, but it was impossible. I decided to lie, hoping I could talk my way out of it, saying I was just walking home and I had no idea what he's talking about. But he didn't believe a word. And without warning, he pushed the knife forward just a little, and I felt that blade bite into my stomach. Not deep, but just enough to slit. Just enough to slice the fucking skin. Mama Nom, thank you. Nom nom nom. Favorite piss flavor? Probably the sweet kind. That's not a knife. This is a knife. But not deep, but enough to slice the skin. I felt a hot, searing pain flare up, and I remember clutching at the wall behind me as I begged him to stop. I looked down to see blood starting to come through my shirt, and the sight of it made my head start to spin, but the husband barely seemed to blink. And I couldn't lie anymore, not with that knife ready to cut me open. And so I confessed everything in a rush, and my voice was cracking as I spilled all the beans. I told him I was a private investigator, hired by his wife because she thought that she was cheating. He was hired by his wife. I cannot stop talking like a fucking Irishman. No matter how hard I try to pretend to be from America, I just can't do it. That burp felt good. It did feel good, yeah. Oh, man. Can't stop burping. It's because I'm sick? Burping because you're sick. You were talking about feeling a Were you the one talking about feeling a tingle in your neck that we thought might be acid reflux, and now you're burping. It sounds like you've got some strange digestive issues, and it might also, fuck it, we're just gonna ask our in-house resident chat BBC. When I fast, I feel a tingle in my neck. I've been burping all day. I don't know why. Vagus nerve activation. The vagus nerve runs through your neck and helps regulate digestion. During fasting, increased stomach acid or digestive changes might irritate or stimulate the vagus nerve. This nerve can cause odd sensations, including tingling, pressure, or even dizziness, especially in the neck or throat area. Burping could be the vagus nerve also influences the esophagus and stomach, which could explain the burping. With no food in your stomach, acid can accumulate or move more freely. Air swallowing. If you're drinking more fluids, especially carbonated or anxious, you might swallow air unconsciously, leading to excess burping. Reflux possibility. Acid reflux, even silent reflux, can cause burping or tingling or tight feeling in the throat or neck. Electrolyte imbalance. If you're fasting, you're not enough sodium, potassium, magnesium, or calcium, it can cause nerve-related sensations like tingling or numbness. What to do? Consider taking an electrolyte supplement with no sugar if you're fasting longer than 16 to 18 hours or exercising while fasted. Throat, muscle tension, stress, burping, muscle strain. Constant burping or throat clearing might cause tension in your neck muscles or esophagus, leading to tingling. If fasting is new or you're under stress while doing it, it might increase sensitivity in the neck area. So add electrolytes to the water, avoid carbonated drinks, drink ginger and peppermint to soothe the stomach, stretch your neck and jaw, shoulders gently if it feels tense. Break the fast with something bland, bone broth, cucumber, rice, if the sensation becomes too uncomfortable. Yeah. Interesting. Hey, Sampai, what's up, dude? Abomination. I'm leaving my now ex because of one of your stories leaving the state. Really? One of the stories got you in trouble or something? What happened? Or like you saw some like red flag or something? When I'm hungry, it feels like pop rocks going up through the middle of my neck, at the base of my head. Pop rocks. When fasted, feels like pop rocks going up from the middle of my neck to the base of my head. The pop rock sensation, tremors in the middle of my fasting, unusual but not necessarily dangerous. Here's the most likely explanations. The vagus nerve runs through the neck and upwards toward the base of the skull. During fasting, especially prolonged fasting, your sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems shift. They can cause strange sensations like tingling, pulsating, or crackling feelings. The pop rocks feeling could be nerves firing or misfiring due to low blood sugar, low electrolytes, heightened autonomic sensitivity. If you're dehydrated or if you're holding tension in your neck and shoulders, it can irritate the cervical nerves C2 to C4. Those nerves can send signals upward to the occipital area, base of your skull. A fizzing or popping sensation might be a form of paresthesia, the nerve static from light compression or poor circulation. This is hugely common while fasting, especially beyond 16 to 18 hours, having an electrolyte depletion. Electrolyte imbalance affect nerves firing, which can cause bizarre sensations, especially in the neck. Magnesium deficiency is notorious for causing tingling, muscle twitches, buzzing sensations. Maybe that's why I've never felt it. I get my magnesium too much. It's most likely an excess of bile from lack of eating a digestive enzyme, which would help reduce that if you want to keep fasting. Yeah, I don't know. Pop rocks feeling could go up to your neck and be a start of a tension-type cervicogenic headache. Some people describe a pre-headache spark or electric fizz that creeps up the spine when under stress or going long periods without food. So drink electrolytes, prioritize sodium, magnesium, potassium. Try magnesium glycinate or citrate, 200 to 400 milligrams if you're not already supplementing. Lay down with your neck relaxed and gently stretch it. See if a small amount of salt under the tongue settles it. If it's too distracting or worrying, break the fast gently with some broth or lightly salted food. So says the great AI doctor. It's not medical advice from me, it's from Silicon Valley. It's just lack of electrolytes. You went to the ER for the same thing. Yeah, maybe you can buy like an electrolyte drink or something that's low calorie and has all the stuff so you can do your fast. I am the good doctor. I am the good doctor. I am a good doctor. Did they know what they were doing when they made that show? I think they knew what they were doing. I told him I was a private investigator hired by his wife because she thought he was cheating. My whole body shook as I spoke. Fuck. I keep squeaking, dude. I'm like a little moose. You're his wife. Look up snake juice. It's a recipe for an electrolyte drink that won't break a fast. Okay, interesting. Snake juice. You have to wring it out of a snake in your garden. You just squeeze them. You have to suck it out of this hose. Close your eyes. Just kidding. I told him, okay. I told him I was a private investigator, hired by his wife because she thought he was cheating. My whole body shook as I spoke, and I waited for him to plunge that knife in deeper. But he didn't. Instead, he just laughed as he admitted it. He was cheating, just like she suspected, but he didn't care if she knew. She'd never leave him because she knew exactly what had happened if she did. He'd track her down, he'd find her, and he'd kill her. The way he said it so calmly and certain was one of the most disturbing things I've ever seen, even after all these years. Then, to my confusion, the husband looked at me with a sort of glint in his eye and started congratulating me. He'd said I'd done a great job at ensuring his wife would get the crap beaten out of her that night, and every night after until he felt. Damn. Do check, but I think the Dole pineapple juice in that can that you get is just straight pineapple juice because I've tasted other and it doesn't taste the same as what you get the Dole can. What are you talking about? What are we talking about? Dole? Dole. Joel's Dole pineapple juice. I have vegetable cocktail first thing in the morning, like 100 milligrams of potassium immediately. Oh, okay, nice. I am a surgeon. I am a surgeon. We need to bring that meme back again. Was there any other good memes from that show besides that one? He said I'd done a great job at ensuring his wife would get the crap beaten out of her that night, and every night after, until we felt she'd paid for wasting her money on me. The sarcasm in his voice cut as deep as that knife did, and I pictured her at home having placed all of her faith in me, blissfully unaware of what I just set into motion, and the guilt hit me like a ton of bricks. I guess the husband was satisfied with the look that came over my face because he stepped back and put the knife away, but his threats weren't over. He warned me that if he ever caught me following him again, he'd do worse than just cut me. And then he turned and walked off into the darkness, leaving me shaken and breathless against the wall. I staggered out of that alley, my hand pressed against the shallow cut in my stomach. My legs barely held me up as I walked. My legs could barely hold me up as I made my way home, and the husband's words were looping in my head the whole way. I didn't go to the hospital. The cut wasn't bad enough to need stitches, and I was too ashamed to let anyone see what had happened. I failed my first job, got myself caught like an amateur, and I'd failed my first job, got myself caught like an amateur, and I'd put my client in danger in the process. The thought of facing a doctor, or just about anyone for that matter, made me feel sick with shame. And for a week, I barely left my apartment. That cut healed slowly, and as cliché as it is to The cut healed slowly, and as cliché as it sounds, the real damage was inside. I couldn't sleep without seeing the husband's face or the knife flashing in front of me. The nightmares had me waking up sweating with that laugh ringing in my ears. I thought about what he'd done to his wife, and that guilt ate at me. I'd taken her case to help her, but instead, I'd made everything worse. I thought about calling her, warning her or something, but what could I say? I had already done enough harm. I avoided mirrors because I didn't want to see the stupid coward staring back at me. I lost my appetite, jumped at every loud noise, and I even considered quitting. I could just pack up and find some safe, boring job where no one held a knife to my gut. But something stopped me. I wanted this career for too long to just give up. Give up. I am a sturgeon. The Sturgeon General. Wouldn't recommend fasting to anyone not doing it for weight loss or religious reasons. Hunger spikes cortisol, and cortisol prevents your body from repairing itself because it's preparing to bolt. I don't know. I've heard opposite though, that like in that calorie deficit, it's like your body prioritizes fat burning over muscle. But I've heard that it does start to break muscle after the like 48 to 72 hour period. So like if you are doing it to like maintain muscle and lose fat, that like 2 days maximum really, and only like maybe only do that length like once a month, but you can do like once a week, maybe 24 hour. I'm confused. Like, wouldn't you still go to the cop or like have an obligation to go to the cops? Favorite Lil Wayne song? Oh man, what's the one? Oh man. Chain on my night. With a dead on my night bed. God damn it. My nightstand. Lil Wayne. It's like all my yeah. Rich as fuck. Yeah, Rich as fuck is a good one. There's like some lyric in there. Oh man, it's good. I like feel like I underappreciated Lil Wayne back in the day. I used to find him kind of annoying because I was a big Ludacris fan. All my friends are rich as heck. All my friends are rich as heck. Animal fat and avocados are great for healthy weight gain. Let's see. They got the... Oh, they don't have the beat? I figured it would have the instrumental or something like that. Instrumental. I'm going instrumental. Whatever. We'll listen to it later. Yo, Crypt Reader, what's up, dude? How you doing? Do you know why don't they lay the contestant on Love on the Spectrum? Wait, what? Oh, don't pay. Oh, they don't pay them on Love on the Spectrum? That's kind of lame. I guess because they're helping them find pure love while also simultaneously exploiting them and then constantly asking them weird questions about sex. I lost my appetite, jumped at every loud noise, and I even considered quitting. I could just pack up and find some safe, boring job where no one held a knife to my gut. But something stopped me. I'd wanted this career for too long to give up after one mistake, no matter how bad that mistake was. When I finally dragged myself back to work, I braced myself for the worst. I figured my boss would chew me out for screwing up so badly on the first job, but he didn't. Instead, he called me into his office and just asked if I was okay. And his voice was gentle, not angry, and that surprised me. I told him what happened, how I'd been caught, cut, and threatened. He listened, nodding like he'd heard stories like mine before, and then told me bad things that sometimes... He listened, nodding like he'd heard stories like mine before, and then told me bad things sometimes happen on jobs like that. He said it wasn't my fault that the husband was a monster, and he wouldn't think less of me if I decided to walk away. And for a moment I considered leaving the danger and shame behind, but ultimately I shook my head. I couldn't quit, not yet. That night in the alley had shaken me to my core, but it also taught me something I'd never forget. Messing up could cost more than just my pride. It could hurt people who depended on me. I went back to work with that lesson burned into me. And that fear didn't vanish overnight, and neither did the guilt, but over time, I was able to push it all to the back of my mind. I took on small jobs at first, tracking down missing debtors and whatnot, and as I started carrying why would you carry a pocket knife? Why would you not carry a fucking pistol? If you have, why would you, what? Carry a pocket knife? Like a little thing that could, like, snap at any moment. Stay back. Stay back. Not to use, but to feel safer, just in case in California you need to carry $1 million in liability insurance if providing armed services. Oh, okay, I just got owned there. I just absolutely got learned it in real time. Maybe an England story. Well, then it should be a bottle of acid. I carry around my concealed acid, my concealed pocket sand. I took on small jobs at first, tracking down missing debtors and whatnot, and I started carrying a pocket knife. Not to use, but feel safer. Just in case, in California, you need to carry $1 million in liability insurance if providing armed services. And just in case you're wondering, in California, you need to carry $1 million in liability insurance if providing armed services. And over time, I got better, more careful, and more confident. But the memory of that first job never left me. Dude, it's so lame. Like, my voice has been cracking all night more than it's ever crickety-cracked. Cracking like a butt. Over time, I got better, more careful, and more confident. But the memory of that first job never left me, though. It was a warning I carried through every job, pushing me to be smarter, tougher, and ready for anything. What do you think of hippopotamustrophobia? That's what I have. I think that's the phobia of getting covered in spuzz. You need spuzz in there. Spuzz. What is spuzz? That'd be a really funny name for, like, a throat spray. Hey bro, let me get a spray of that spuzz. It's like a nicotine caffeine throat spray. Ah, perfect, thanks. If you need a little pick-me-up, try some spuzz. Hey, yo, bro, pass the spuzz. And then you just spray them in the eyeball. Oh, this is better than galaxy gas, baby. Alright, guys, well, I guess we're pretty much freaking done. Believe it or not, this video's literally coming out tomorrow. I've given myself just over 20 hours to do so. We'll see what happens. What the fuck's the outro? The outbro. I wrote joutro. I gotta read the joutro. Damn. I feel like, yeah, YouTube just, like, did not tell anybody about my sick-ass live stream. Wait, never mind. I guess it's about 4:50 here. You guys want to talk about some stuff? Anybody want to talk about things before we leave? I can record this outro and we can just garble on about nothing. That was pretty freaking epic, if you ask me. More videos to react to. Give me something funny to say at the end, though, as I read this. Hey, friends, thanks for listening. Click that notification bell to be alerted of all future narrations. I release new videos every Monday and Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, and there are super fun live streams on Sundays and Wednesday nights. If you got a story, be sure to submit them over at my email at letsreadsubmissions@gmail.com, and maybe even hear your story featured in the next video. And if you want to support me even more, grab early access to all future narrations and bonus content over on Patreon, or click that big join button to hear about the extra perks for members of the channel. And check out the Let's Read podcast, where you can hear all of these stories in big compilations located anywhere you listen to podcasts. All links in the description below. Thanks so much, friends, and remember, be sure to pass my spuzz. What? Hey, yo, bro, pass the spuzz. I'm gonna say it like that. Thanks so much, friends, and remember, hey, yo, bro, pass the spuzz. Pass the gas. Galaxy gas. Just kidding. We're gonna talk for a little while. I don't really know what about, but we can just chit-chat. Maybe I'll run out of energy. Maybe I wilt. Maybe I wilt run out. What are you guys doing? What's new? Am I having some issues? No issues. Honestly, quite the opposite. Everything is honestly too good. Too dang good. React to Bizarre Bub. Does he have a new video? Does he have a new vid? I guess that would be fun. Bizarrethan Bub. Oh shit. 1 day ago. I'm about to cream. Let's get it, baby. Ghost videos. Ghost videos, baby. Fuck yeah. Fucking fuck yeah. I love fucking ghost videos. Oh my god. I'm such a slut for ghosts. Alright. Let's get it, baby. Stand by. Bump. Bump. Yeah, let's just get to it. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
In the following video, a woman named Britt is outside her house trying her best to remain calm
Captions
after
on
witnessing
for
something
Fry.
that left her immensely terrified.
Oh shit.
I'm recording this. Off chance that no one believes me, maybe I can catch it.
It's her son playing Fortnite.
And by the way, I have a freaking
He widowy just got a
in my front
epic
yard,
dub.
which probably doesn't help my cause. But I
Try not to
was just
jizz
inside
challenge
all by myself
mission.
with my dog.
Impossible. Oh, issues with my voice? I don't know. I've just been like, I don't know what it is. Been squeaking a little more than usual. Oh my god, that dog's so annoying. Holy shit. Shut that damn thing up.
Josie?
Oh, it stopped barking.
Josie?
You do voiceovers for channels like these to pay for bills? What, like collaborations or? Josie, where are you? Yeah, why did the dog stop barking? I need just a little spritz of spuzz. Uh-oh. Oh my god, that dog's going nutso. Ooh. Oh, he's like a sheepdog. Ew, look at that old ass fucking
Yeah, she's just been
closet.
staring at that, and then she started barking.
It's like everything in the house is modern
And she
except that
growled.
door from the year
And then she growled that she,
1750.
like, booked it.
Staring at that, and then she started barking.
Hey, I got you
Did she growl?
some cool decor.
She growled at him, like,
It's from a haunted barn door.
I just don't really know. What
The
she's
previous
saying,
owners burned to death, so I hope that's
Again, like,
I hope that's your
this
style.
is how she looks. And
Does it
she's
lead anywhere? Is it like a
really
oh, it is a
clean.
closet. Okay, that's kind of a cool look, though. I guess for a closet, you got lots of space. The dog's gonna be right in her face. What are you doing?
Like what?
It's gonna do a
is
TikTok
it?
dance. Hey
For
Skylar,
some
take
reason,
care.
Britt's dog has been
For some
staring at this
fucking
closet
reason,
space for quite
this
some
dog
time,
wouldn't
despite
lick
there
the
being
peanut
no
butter
one or
off.
nothing inside. The space is clear, but strangely, her dog is locked in on something.
You thought I got a
Although
dog.
initially
Can you
scared,
imagine
it
that? Like
wasn't
pretty
until her dog started
scratching
growling and barking at the space that she
the
immediately
B-roll of
fled.
dog
At which
image.
point she began to record this video. Now there's something in the beginning that Britt
Ooh.
captures, which is worth pointing out.
Did it
and that's
move?
the graveyard in front of her house.
Oh,
Every so
okay.
often, Josie would come out
Jesus.
to the spot
How many
and
people
just
did she
stare at
kill?
it in the same way that she would when looking at the closet space.
Josie.
Okay, so this dog is absolutely cursed.
Josie, what's going on?
Ghosts are real, guys.
For this reason, Britt believes that the cemetery might have something to do with
You
Josie's
watch these
strange
ghost videos as a
behavior.
family?
It's as though
It does
she's
actually
seeing
sound kinda
something
chill.
that we can't.
Like, there's nothing I
But
hate
things
more
get
than
even
like sitting
creepier
down to
when
eat
Britt
with people,
mentions a certain detail
and it's just
about this
like awkwardly
graveyard.
quiet. Like
So a lot of you
at least
guys
put
have
on some
also been
fucking
asking
music or some
questions
shit.
about the graveyard.
I feel like we're
Yes,
not like an
Indian
Amish
home,
family.
A graveyard
eating by
on
candlelight.
this property. So this was my grandparents' ranch, and it was their wish to be
Bury
buried
literally everybody that's ever worked on
right
the farm
here, just where
right
they
here.
were. And
For the past 200
before
years.
they passed away, they buried all of their cats right here where you see the little crosses.
God.
So that's really all that there's to it, but things have been quite
Holy
quite
shit.
strange lately.
They were
for
buried
some
like
reason,
Egyptian
cows just
pharaohs with their fucking
come
cats.
to this area sometimes and like surround it because we during the day
We decided to
leave that
build
gate
a
open.
giant
As she mentions, cows would
sarcophagus.
also come to this exact spot and do the same thing that her dog would do. Keep in mind that the only farm animals that she has on this ranch
Five little
are
tables. We
horses.
sit in front of the
These
TV on the
cows
couch
aren't
and have
hers,
dinner
but they
watching
always
ghost
come from a
videos. That
neighboring
sounds
ranch
amazing.
And surround her graveyard.
Yeah, I know
See,
people
this
like
is what
think
I'm
eating
talking
at a
about.
table is perfect, but
They
I think that's great too.
literally
But
come
I don't know.
out here all
Everybody
the
being
time.
comfortable watching a show
It's a newer
sounds pretty fucking
development.
sick as well. Whoa, what the fuck's that cow doing? I didn't even notice those.
Like, why?
They just let them wander.
They just kind of come and really breathe around this
Ew,
area.
it's a creepy noise.
And they just kind of will freeze and won't move. So, yeah.
I gotta take my shoes off for this.
If Josie's behavior hasn't fully convinced Britt that something is up with her graveyard, then the cows definitely have.
Wait, was
Now,
that
the
like a
cow
whole ass
situation
neighborhood
is a
down there, or was that
relatively
their
new
own
occurrence.
property?
It was only a month ago.
I was just
in April
imagining, like,
that they
what if the
started to
cows, like,
appear.
wandered into
This is
your
why she's been trying to
yard.
record them as much as she can, just in case they stop showing up and no one believes her. But one night, while getting a food delivery,
Here's a
Britt
ghost
records
man.
something that makes her even more certain that there's something off about the graveyard.
Ghost doer.
It's late at night when this is captured.
Ah, míos Dios!
Thank you. Thank you so much. Sorry about that.
Did you know you got a fucking zombie?
Outside. Go ahead.
Oh, that's so interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah. It's okay. No problem.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Have a good night.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
See the cows over there?
it's scared. He's like, oh.
They're actually not mine. I don't know. It wasn't showing up.
Oh wait, these cows aren't hers, just random ones? Yeah, what's worse than a cow fart, a dinosaur fart?
Hi.
Is she responsible for these stray cows?
Thank you. See, this is what I'm talking about. Every freaking night.
I feel like
even
cows
at
are
night,
just
they
a
come and
manifestation
hang
of,
out
like-
and they just like stand.
They could only be like breeding from humans. Because they seem like the dumbest animals on earth.
Are you
They seem very nice. Wait, is her alarm going off? Oh, shitskis. She's like, what the flip? Oh no, dude! She got squeaked there. Holy shit.
Eerily, her
Hey,
shirt is
did you
pulled
get
by
my-
something that can't be
Did you get my
seen.
DoorDash?
It was right after she walked in to disable the home security alarm, which had gone off for unknown reasons, that
That
this
is
happened.
crazy.
Upon feeling a sudden yank,
Hey-ya.
she immediately drops her food and runs out in a panic frenzy.
Come upstairs with me.
According to her, it was
Maybe it was the
as if someone
delivery
had told her
driver
to
with the
sleep
fucking
all their
invisible
might.
Harry Potter
Shaken up
cloak
by
on.
this, she decides to sleep in the RV outside and wait until her family came back from their trip. It goes without saying, but she was totally freaked out, and it didn't help that she was all alone when this happened. This incident,
Mad
along
jealous
with
of
the
her
strange
estate.
behavior
It is
from the
nice as
animals,
shit.
has
Like,
led
what
her
is-
to believe that the graveyard
How did she
is
end
either
up with this
cursed
nice
or
ass place?
haunted.
Oh, she said it was her
Whether
grandparents.
paranormal or not, these occurrences are still pretty creepy. But despite
Is
there
that a
being
whole
no further
neighborhood
videos
down
on
there?
the situation, these current ones continue to spook viewers and make them wonder
Jealous of the
just what
cow.
exactly
I don't know.
is
Some
going on
cows
with Britt's
probably have
home.
nice lives.
Like all videos, this one remains a mystery.
Yoink. I feel like that's always like the extent of ghost interactions. It's just kind of like some weird pulling on something.
Now,
Maybe
this
that's
next
the only
video
amount
takes
of power.
place in a
Ooh,
museum
what the
where
fuck's
something
that?
pretty creepy
Oh.
was captured. Now, just for context,
Smoking
the
a
person
cigarette.
recording this was visiting this museum after his father came here a few days ago. His dad told him that there was something off about this place. He doesn't know why, but the exhibition that's dedicated to
That
a woman
lady's
known
real.
as Maria Sabina creeps him out. Whether it's because
if
her
you were a
wax
ghost, what
statue
would you
looks a
do?
little too real, or her
I don't know. I always thought like a
witchcraft,
good like
this whole
video game
exhibition
for like
scares
ghosts
him.
would be sick.
But
Just
after watching this video, that
and
his
like
son
basically
took,
you would need like
there's
the
no way
fear
that
of
he's
the
coming
people
back
you
to
made
this place
afraid
now.
to like
The
build up
following is
energy.
what his son captured
And then
at
the more energy you
exhibition
got,
of
like
Maria
the cooler
Sabina.
shit you could do, like
Have
turning
one.
on faucets and slamming doors, and eventually you could like do crazy poltergeist shit. Dude, her eyeballs are gonna be looking. I already guessed it. Oh my god, she has a cell phone. Dude, this thing looks too real, bro. Okay, those eyes are moving, bro. There's a lady under that suit. No. Oh. What the hell, man? What the
Somehow,
freaking
the wax
hell?
figure of Maria Sabina comes
Oh
alive.
my god! I was like,
She
"What you looking
seemingly
at?"
tilts her head in a quick and sudden motion, almost as if scrutinizing the person
Someone light my
recording her.
cigarette.
Evidently, it scares the living daylights out of the cameraman, but it doesn't stop him from recording. He continues to film, just in case she moves again. But she doesn't. The figure is now acting as it should.
Keep. Dios mío.
Now, this whole occurrence has freaked out many viewers, including the father who came here before. However, unlike many, he started
What's
to
up,
think
Jenny?
that maybe this was just
Oh, you
part of
already
the
saw this
figure's
video?
design. Maybe it was
I
meant
do
to
wonder
move
how they
as
did
it was
that.
built that way.
Who knows? Maybe it was like
But
straight up
according to
haunted.
the museum's owner,
Dude,
this should not have happened.
Stuff in like South
¿Qué onda, amigo?
America,
No, amigo, no manejo nada de
Central America.
mecatrónica. Es una figura
I feel like way more
totalmente
haunted
cera.
than America.
Es una pieza total rígida, no se puede
So this is why you don't make
manipular. Te digo,
wax
no tiene
statues of
nada
shit too
como
realistic.
esto. No hay cables, no hay nada.
Because then you end up on
Es
compilations
un
like
robot.
this.
Es una figura totalmente en cera.
If the
David,
figure
thank you for the
isn't an
7, bro.
animatronic Or anything
Thank you,
of
thank
that
you.
Sort, then just how
He
exactly
touched
did
it. That was
move?
not smart to touch
This
that.
question continues to
That
remain
needs to be kept in
unanswered,
someone's
and it
basement.
seems likely that it'll stay that way for a while until more evidence is presented. Until then, you can assess what exactly transpired here. Now, the following video
I don't know
comes
if it was
from an
actually
account
wax
that
or
posts
not.
videos
Oh, what the
of
fuck?
firefighters putting out fires.
Oh my
All
god, these are
videos on
actually
this
the
page
coolest.
appear to be
Whenever
meant
like
for
some
educational
crazy shit
purposes,
happens and you
from
see like
showing
a ghost
procedures that a
in
firefighter
the background or
must follow during
something.
critical situations, to demonstrating how a fire truck navigates through traffic. An aspiring
You pull that little
firefighter
string.
can find these videos pretty useful. However, one video in particular
This
might seem a bit
MPEG-4.
strange to the person who's watching this for educational
Dude,
purposes.
the B-roll is
Unlike
so
most
funny.
videos, this one is pretty creepy. On March 10th of 2025, a man is recording a vacant property that's burning down in the middle of the woods. As he films, something is captured that's left many viewers unsettled.
Dude, actually, out of context, house being lit on fire in the middle of nowhere, like implying that somebody was haunted by its. What the fuck? They went inside? Why would you go inside a
Now, the
burning
man recording owns this
structure?
property, and he had no idea that during this footage, something pretty creepy happened. I'll play the rest of the footage and let you see for yourself.
You went to a wax museum?
This
Nice,
is what he
dude.
caught.
I thought the house was like clear. And he's just like, let me just wander in there. He's gonna run into like an elemental beast.
Here right now. It's amazing. Look through the window.
It's amazing. Why is this amazing? Wait, I missed it. Oh, there it was. Did you see
It's
that shit?
amazing. Look through the window.
Yeah, he's gonna like breathe in all that shit. Gong, dun. It's always crazy whenever like you see it on replay like later, but he wouldn't have seen it in the moment. They also like move so fucking fast. Yeah, he might be the arsonist too.
It isn't obvious at first, but if you look closely, a black figure can be
Ooh,
seen
that's
moving
so
inside
creepy.
the burning structure. Considering that the property
Ugh.
had been vacant for many years, there shouldn't have been anyone or anything inside, but strangely, something is. Even stranger is that the figure quickly ducks out of sight the
Dude.
moment the owner looks down the hall.
Sometimes the speed at
almost
which they
as if
move
it was
is like
trying to
so
hide.
fast.
The owner would have probably seen it had he not been mesmerized by the blazing flames that were close to him.
It's
The
amazing.
blazing
Look
saddles.
through the window.
For this reason, he
You
misses the
leaving, Queef?
figure, and apparently something else. It was only after viewers started looking closely
looks
at the
too
rest of the
intense to be
footage
natural
that more
flame?
things were noticed. As it
I don't know. I
seems,
guess it just
the
depends on the
figure wasn't
materials
only
within
unsettling
the
thing about this clip.
within the building itself, because that does look like your typical house fire. I guess just using all the other stuff. Wait, what do they hear? Oh my god, creepy laughter.
That's learning. I don't know why that.
Out of nowhere, a child's voice is caught on camera.
Should he not
even though
call
there were no
the
kids around.
firefighters? Did he call the firefighters?
It's a distinct voice that clearly sounds like a child laughing. Although not sure where the voice came from, many believe that the house might have some connection to it. If that's so, then what was captured next has most likely convinced many that the house is haunted. While recording a different side of the burning structure,
The
this
walls
was
are covered
caught.
in grease.
All day.
Oh, what the fuck? Damn, dude.
Like
Some
before,
haunted ass
a dark
footage.
figure is briefly seen before
What the fuck?
disappearing out of nowhere. It's the fact that it comes out from the same house.
fact that
where
you got,
last
like,
figure was
3
seen that
separate
makes this video even creepier.
paranormal
and it
things
doesn't
in this.
help that a
It's
child's
kind of
voice
insane.
was caught earlier. Could it be, as viewers believe, that all these occurrences are due to the fact that the house is haunted? Some believe
Wait,
that
where'd
the
that-
burning
oh.
house has forced whatever had been inside to leave the property at once,
Yeah, dude,
which
it
to
makes you
them
wonder.
explains why the shadowy figure was seen running out of the house and the kid's voice was heard outside, as if they had nowhere
I wonder
else
if you
to go
burn
now.
down a house that's haunted if
Although
you
an
like
interesting
free their
thought,
souls.
It isn't certain if that's the case. Like
What would
all
my
videos,
superpower
I'll
be?
let you come up with your
Probably
own
just to burn down
conclusions,
houses
but
with a
let me know what you
lighter.
think.
Zoom. I know that was like a giant freaking Sasquatch beast.
Now this next video takes place at a hotel in Spain where a group of friends had taken an elevator
Fireman,
that
yeah.
for some reason
We did do
wouldn't take them to the
paranormal,
floor.
A paranormal police story years ago where like
for a minute.
they get called to a house and like hear stuff, but nobody's like at this abandoned house, which is really weird.
You need to hit that gym. You wanna figure it out?
Fictional character superpower, what would it be?
Alright.
I don't know. I would say flying, but I feel like it'd be way too cold.
What is going on?
Do you know anyone that was haunted? Like an individual person? I don't think so. It is Logan Paul
Although
stumbling
pretty
across
creepy,
another
it could be that
forest.
the elevator was simply malfunctioning and therefore unable
Ew,
to
where are
move.
they stuck at?
However, this occurrence wouldn't be so creepy if it weren't for the fact that other hotel guests have reported the same problem when taking this elevator.
Ghosts
It's
in
a
the
common
country scare me
occurrence,
so much more
according
than
to
I like a
hotel
haunted
staff,
castle
and
in
they're not
England.
sure why this
Yeah, it
happens.
seems like the more
The
ancient it
16th
goes,
floor
the
is still under
scarier it
construction,
gets.
meaning that no guests are staying there at the moment.
It's like an energy
So it
that's
doesn't
just
make
been
sense
like
as to why
trapped
it
there
does this.
forever.
But fast forward to only a day or two later, and this happens.
Yo, so this elevator
set of powers.
is
I mean, it would be
acting
sick to be
mad
Superman.
weird. We started a
No
few floors
flirping
up,
way, dude.
and
Ooh. Wait, oh my god. Is the elevator malfunctioning? Yo.
The elevator suddenly stops working. As it turns out, there had been a power outage affecting most parts of Spain and Portugal, and it just so happens that the group of friends were taking this elevator when it happened.
Oh,
the
okay.
backup-
I
yeah,
thought they were in
got
like some
backup
abandoned building or
generators
something.
been coming on and off. We've been having the time of our lives. And yeah, we're like cooking a life.
Why ghosts
Now,
only
thankfully,
speak
while being
English?
stuck inside, the backup generator
maybe you're
kicks
only
in,
watching
but it's not working as it should, as the
America's
lights
Top
continue
Ghosts.
to go on and off randomly. But as all three friends have fun with the flashing lights, this happens.
There you go. I got you.
Uh-oh. Something's gonna bounce back.
he's cooking something.
What are you doing?
Yep.
What are you doing?
I gotta pee. Oh, you gotta pee. It's making my bladder.
Oh my god.
I gotta pee.
You gotta pee.
I feel like the rappers. Go. I gotta pee.
Dude, these are bars.
Holding my bladder.
Yep.
I gotta pee. I don't know what else is going on. I gotta pee.
What the fuck? Oh my god.
I
Got like a little dog demon.
This is probably the worst thing.
I gotta pee.
In the corner of the elevator, a dark
wanna be
silhouette
free
is seen right behind one of
this
the friends.
elevator.
It's small, but clear enough to see that something out of place is there.
Oh, what
Neither
the fuck?
friend
Yeah.
had realized what this was.
It's like
and
summoning
after
it.
watching this
Unless
footage,
it's like a
they
backpack.
can't help but think that something otherworldly had been inside the elevator. Now, thankfully, after
Huh.
some time,
Was that
the
their
group
stuff?
was able to escape, but not in the way that they
It's
imagined.
gotta be, yeah, that was a dog demon. I gotta pee. Whenever your beats are so fire, you summon the demons of hell.
Wait.
How long were they stuck down there?
That's the same one as before. All right.
It says
They were brought
Bula,
up
yeah.
to the 16th floor after being stuck inside for
It's
about
here
an
to beat
hour
the-
and a
beat
half.
the crap out
Just
of
like
them.
before, no one had called it. Although definitely strange, they would much rather be on this floor than inside the broken elevator.
Oh wait,
for
so this was
obvious
after the
reasons.
fact that
But the
door
question
opened.
still remains.
See, that's like, would
Just
you
who
even
called it
leave?
up? And most importantly,
Dude, that
just
would be
what
a creepy
exactly
story.
had been inside the
You get stuck on
elevator.
an elevator from
To
a
this
power
day, the
outage,
friends have
and
no
then you
clue,
get taken
but
to
they're
a
just glad
a
that things didn't
floor
take a turn for the worse while being trapped inside.
that you like looks
Ghosts or
creepy,
not,
but
this
you're like,
video
oh
is
shit, it's
pretty
closing.
strange.
So you're like, fuck it, let's go. And then you're just like forced out there in the darkness. That'd be actually a really creepy start to a movie.
It's late at night when a mother quickly grabs her phone to record this video. She lays in bed across
thought
from
that
her
was a
daughter,
dog for a
who
second.
just told her a few hours ago that she was scared of sleeping in her room. According to the mother who sent me this, she was
Make that into a
terribly
horror
shaken
game.
up by
That
the
would be
events of
good.
that night. Something in her home had felt completely off, and she needed to record this. While taking this video, she captures this.
Boom.
So, my daughter's sleeping with me in my bed tonight. She kept saying that she was really scared of something in her room. I'm a little bit shaky. I don't know if you guys can tell, but
You got Parkinson's. Ooh, wait, what is that sound? Oh, I thought that was me blowing into the fucking mic. Oh. Is it? Okay, I was like, is that a toy? She is zonked out. Jesus Christ. The fucking demonic toy. Jesus. This toy is dying. What the fuck? Yeah, I swear I've seen videos like this where like toys are going off and like the kids always sleep through it. Like somehow the little kids are like sleeping through the loudest fucking noises ever.
so this is the same toy that used to go off in the past.
And they'll take the batteries out and it'll still work. That is a weird arm. What is that?
Good answer.
She can practice her makeup on. Wait, what just happened?
It's always terrified me
I heard the
since.
gong.
So I would ask it questions and it would answer.
Oh, did it move or something?
With noises.
I didn't see it. Did you guys see it? We play.
With noises.
Where is it? Oh my god.
Now, I
Oh
will admit
my
that watching
god,
this video
that's
the first
creepy as
time, I
hell.
completely missed what happened. It wasn't until
Out of
writing up
all
this
the toys
footage that it
you could
became much
possess to
clearer.
like do
A
something
finger
creepy, that's
on
the
this
one
toy
right
arm
there.
suddenly lifts on its own. It almost seems to be pointing at the mother, as if to say,
I'm
I
getting
see
a
you.
stiffy.
Although definitely strange, this occurrence is made creepier by the toy truck. For whatever reason, it was going off before this happened. As the mother writes, the reason this toy truck scares her isn't just because it's going off right now, but because it seems to be intelligent when it shouldn't be. Shannon, the mother in question, would sometimes ask the toy to light up or make a sound, and shortly thereafter,
I don't know.
it
Get
would.
like a full
This
mannequin
has led her to
arm.
believe the toy's either cursed or haunted. The same is said about the toy arm. But as always, I'll let you come up with your own conclusions.
That's
Did
really
Shannon
creepy.
capture evidence of a paranormal occurrence?
I don't even know how you could fake
or
that.
might there be something to explain what happened? Let me know your thoughts on this one.
Take my strong hand.
If you caught something creepy on camera, or if there's any ghost videos you'd like me to check out and include in the next compilation,
Send me a wiener
you can
pic
send them over to
scaryvideos444
at gmail.com. That being said, let's get back to the video.
Number 1.
On May 8th
Milk
of
duds on an
2025, a
airplane.
small family from California had shared a video in which something very strange happens. Apparently, whatever took place in this house wasn't just witnessed by the man, but also by the dog resting on the couch.
What the fuck?
It's this small detail that further makes this video baffling. Now, it's important to note that other dogs live in this house. The family who lives here
I love
are genuinely
Dobermans, bro.
passionate about caring for their pets,
I miss my
which is why
Dobermans.
they treat each of their dogs
What the
as
hell?
though they were their own children. From having a giant portrait of
Putting a
Frida,
goddamn
Pepper,
diaper on
and
the baby,
Valentino,
or the
to
dog.
having a fully furnished
Wow,
dog
they
room
have-
dedicated to them.
Holy
it's clear
shit.
that this family
Some people
embraces
doing a
all
little
its
too
members
much.
and ensures that no one is ever left out.
I love dogs,
even if one of them is no longer here.
Oh,
Only
okay.
a month ago, Maxie, their first and oldest Chihuahua,
Who
had
is
passed away
25
from
years
old age.
old.
Not a single day passes without thinking of little Maxie.
Kept alive on an
He was
iron lung.
deeply cared for, which makes it even harder for the family to accept that he's now gone. But despite this unfortunate story, the family's now focused on something else that happened recently. It was on a Thursday afternoon when this was captured.
Oh, man. A little fucking dog left a little fucking dog poop on the floor. God, that's... I'm like so nervous in the future, like whenever Pradeep sadly leaves this earth, that I'm still gonna like see him all the time out of the corner of my eye. Bong, wong, gong, gong. What the flip? Hey, see you, Silk. Take care. Oh God, can you imagine hearing the
Out of
exact sound
nowhere,
of the dog?
The sound of a barking dog is heard from inside the house. The man turns around to see if it was the dog behind him, but it wasn't. Something about these barks sounded familiar, and it wasn't until re-listening to the audio that the man knew he wasn't just hearing things, but rather a barking dog that sounded just like Maxie. No other dog is seen around except the one on the couch, and
Used
the
to
other
sneak around
dogs that
after
live
she
here
passed.
weren't home at this moment.
Yeah, it'd be hard.
If
I mean,
no
I
other
still
dog
feel
had
like I see him even
barked, then
whenever
which
he's not
did?
there.
To the family, the answer is clear. It was Maxie who had barked. They believe that little Maxie had
There he
paid him a
is.
visit by barking in his usual
He's
manner.
the one that's been shitting on the San
Apparently,
Francisco
this is how he
streets.
barked when he wanted someone to come get him.
He's a black cat, so it says seeing shadow people in the
Understandably,
corner. I used to
Maxie's
see it.
owner begins
Yeah,
to
that's what I'm
tear
saying. I
up
see him
after
now
weeks
everywhere.
without hearing from him since he passed away. Their other dog seems to hear the barks too, but like his owner, he can't seem to find where they're coming from. As with most videos, this one remains unsolved.
Zam. Is there an extra one?
Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.
Oh, that's it. Oh, we got the 600 viewers? No way. I did not expect. Pretty much didn't expect that. That's wild. Oh, wow. What the heck? Right when I right when I start reacting to stuff, we actually get viewers. Maybe that's how you keep people around. You actually have something to stare at. Well, I feel bad. We kind of have to cut it here now because we got all the stories recorded. But, yeah. I will get these up over on Patreon. Same time, same place. Early access over there is only $1. And then I will get it up on YouTube same time, 9 p.m. EST, Mondays and Thursdays, my friend. But I'll be back streaming this Wednesday, probably around the 9:30, 10 p.m. mark. So be sure to hit that notification bell. But thanks for hanging out, guys. Thanks for being awesome. Love you, appreciate you. And I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.